Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. This evening's Talk Hammer show. Different software tonight because we've had issues with StreamYard, so I've had to quickly cobble all of this together, and I'm hoping it's going to work. So I'm going to put up a test comment. Just 1 minute. Who shall I pick? Let's pick that one. There you go. That looks all right, doesn't it?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that's fine. Right, okay.
Oh, I like the way it goes up from the bottom as well. It's better than StreamYard.
Yeah, no, I know. The only downside is I'm the only one that can see the comments, and I'm shit at the comments. That's the only thing.
Well, I can see the comments, but I can't put them up.
Oh, you can see them, your end?
Yeah, I just can't put them up. So
okay. All right, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
That is fine. Well, if you see anything that I missed, just point me towards it. Right. Anyway, let's get on with the show. So, look, we all watched a very frustrating game of football earlier on. I've just spoken to Gary briefly before we came on air. He feels similar to me. It was a frustrating watch. So we're gonna sort of pick the bones out of that and then do the player ratings. Then we're going to just look ahead very, very quickly to the next 3 or 4 games, because as we all know, after the City game, I did say there was a ceasefire. I went 5 games before without me mentioning
Moyes. You don't want to say I told you
without me mentioning Moyes out. But no. Listen, got to give it, because if we beat Sheffield United, then we're on 13 points. We'll start to feel differently. We will. But that's a big game now, isn't it? It's a big game.
Yeah. Of course it is.
But look, as always, we never do this on the live shows. If you are new to the show, please drop a like on the video. Please subscribe as well, because it does help us. And listen, I've got a bit of an announcement. This is all new. You can probably see all that crap sitting behind me over there. It's not crap. It's actually very, very nice. I don't know why I said that. We was never gonna do the sponsorship thing. We was never gonna do. We never was. But a chap reached out to me, a West Ham fan called David from the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company. He has. So they are now our channel partners, our channel sponsors, if you like. So I've had Gary's box sitting there for how long? About 2 weeks. You've still not got yours, have you?
Well,
I'm working my way through mine. I'm working my way through.
This is the thing, right? I'm a massive half hour away from your house, and you can't be bothered bringing it round. You could come
and collect it, though, couldn't you?
Well, I could, but I've been really busy. I've been really busy.
I know,
you could just drop it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's a link in the description for the site anyway. There's going to be more bits and pieces coming up, sort of QR codes and all that sort of all that sort of stuff, where you can get 15% off, and but that's basically it. So there is a discount code, 15% off, and it is. I'll tell you what, we've used up most of the tea already. Like the English breakfast tea and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've not gone on to the other stuff yet, and also the coffee's nice as well. But anyway, look, that's enough talking about tea and coffee. Don't want to.
I'm drinking a lot of tea, though, to be fair. So I want that box. You want that box, do you? I'm going to go and get it. Yeah. I want my mug as well. You got me a mug as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, God, don't talk to me about mugs. Do you know we did the mug? Well, because I was supposed to be placing the order on Friday, and I did a cut off at 9 o'clock, and I got loads of orders between 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. There was not loads, but staggered through, and some the next morning. Yeah. So I've held it off. So now I'm going to place the order on Monday morning, because there's loads of extras come through. So it's all good, yeah. But no one listens. I said the cut-off's at 9, and I got loads of additional ones come through. Yeah, no,
it's good though. It's good.
It is good. It's just it's just a lot of correspondence. That's all. It's a lot of correspondence on the on the old email front. But no, it's good. There was a lot of interest in that as well. On the it's quite heartwarming. I
suspect there's going to be more and more interest as the weeks go on.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, look, Obsidian Curse says they were a sponsor until you called them crap. I didn't call them crap. I said all that crap.
That's what I was thinking. Exactly. Well said. I mean, way to really
unveil
with the sponsors.
Unveil the sponsor.
Yeah. Fucking hell, you couldn't have done it better.
Well, it is. It's all clutter behind me. I've got loads of clutter behind. Jill's dumped it all up here. That's why. But look. Right. Anyway, let's talk about the game anyway. So I've already spoken about it. Not in depth. It was only about 15 minutes, but I thought we started really well. It was really bright. First 15 minutes, great. But then that mistake from Aguirre, and I've seen I weren't really paying too much attention to the live stream because I just wanted to do a quick 15-minute sort of upload before this show. But I've sort of since watched it back and I've seen all the comments. And Garino put a comment in there. I think Glenn did as well, saying that people are being unfair. There he is. Look, I'm not the best salesman in the world, David. I am sorry, mate. I am sorry.
Let me tell you, I'm in sales and I was outraged by what you just did.
So and what they said in the chat, they said it was a midfield that was a problem. We was allowing people just to sort of stream through the middle. Also, somebody else said is that Aguer's covering for Zuma in that sort of system because Zuma hasn't got the legs, so he's having to sort of cover all angles as well. I don't know. Do you think there's anything in that? I mean, there is an accumulation of errors from Aguer now. He's getting a lot of crap, but it seems like every game he makes a mistake. But unfortunately for him, whenever he makes a mistake, it's leading to a goal.
Well, I think we today did see a bit of a stinker from Zuma as well. He wasn't at his best defensively. No. I know Soufal put in the cross for the goal, but defensively he was poor. And we've been calling this out week after week, right? I mean, go back to when was it? Last week's show or the week before? We've been saying Soufal is off the boil and needs dropping for weeks. We've got Kera sitting there, twiddling his thumbs, waiting for the next European game. Aguerd is a liability at the moment. Yep. I mean, a proper liability. Some of the stuff he does is Sunday League. I mean, he's just every mistake he makes costs a goal, right? Every single one. And I'll tell you what, something that nobody seems to have picked up on. You remember that hideous attempted header that he jumped too early for last week against Man City?
Yeah, that was pathetic. Yeah.
Ball over the top, right?
Yeah.
What happens in the Premier League is other teams watch these videos, find out how you can get past someone. He's got a weakness. A little dink over the top, bloke loses his mind, right?
Yeah.
So the penalty aside, I know you said Zuma and him were culpable. Yeah, they were. They both took the right after man. But the ball went over the top of Aguerd. He just lost the flight of the ball completely. Not a clue, completely out of position. So for me, he's responsible for 2 goals.
It was a brilliant ball from McAllister. Gary.
It was a brilliant ball. It was a brilliant ball, but you don't leave that gap. You don't leave that gap. You predict where the ball is. You know, he's taking his eye off the man. He's stationary basically, and so the ball ends up looking much better than the ball actually is. Great ball, but it looks far better than it is. And if he was in his as it would have if he was in his rightful position, he was not. Yeah. He left the defender alone. It was like a traffic cone.
Yeah, right? No.
So it is. I know he's a left-sided defender. Ogbonna made a mistake in midweek, and that means he's never going to get another start for God knows how long. It seems that Aguerd is one of the favourites. He's going to start regardless. Souček is one of the favourites. Listen, there's nothing. I mean, Souček nearly scored in that first 10, 15 minutes today as well.
I'd say it was a brilliant header. Brilliant header. And do you know what? He also put a wonderful cross in for Antonio as well.
He did. But the thing is, right? But the thing is, well, that's kind of what little bits of attacking play you get from Souček. But I hate the fact that we're playing with effectively 3 defensive midfielders in the side, or 2 defensive midfielders in the side, with him playing further up the pitch, but he's still another defensive midfielder, right? And and that should be a flair player. That's a berth for a flair player, without a shadow of a doubt. And I'll tell you what, I'll make a prediction now. We're going to play, Sheffield United got fucking trounced today, 8-0 at home.
I know.
By Newcastle. 8-0 at home.
Yeah, but that's because Newcastle poured at them and blitzed them. I don't think we'll do that.
Well, it shows how good their low block is, right? It shows how good their low block is. But the problem is Newcastle are an attacking outfit.
They're a good team, exactly. I mean, we got done 5-0.
Yeah, but hang on. But I know, but hang on, right? They're an attacking team. They get on the front foot. They wave after wave after wave, and so they're gonna unlock the door and they're gonna score a goal. They score a couple of goals. It gets what happens, right? The team just lose their confidence before you know it's all over. But what's going to happen next week is they're going to come to us. They're going to sit in a low block. We do not have that wave after wave of attack that Newcastle have. So we're going to struggle to unpick them like we struggled against the mighty Luton the other week.
Yeah, well,
like we struggled against
but also
the mighty Lacabocolo whatever they were
TSC. But also, I'll tell you what, just to change subject slightly, based on what Paul Riley says here, we all heard the comments from Antonio. Which, you know what, you can if he's going to back that up, if he's going to make those comments and then come out and put in a brilliant performance, then that's great. But it wasn't just the miss; he had a bit of a stinker all afternoon, and in the second half, he was just strolling around. Honestly, he was one of the players that just didn't come out for the second half. But that miss, Gary, fucking hell.
You know that when Antonio is on his game, which is usually funny enough against the better sides, when he's not on his game, honestly, I'd pull him off after 25 minutes, right?
Lord Patrick's been saying this for a while. On the in the comments, he's basically been saying that Antonio plays well in bursts until he reaches certain targets. Obviously, he was looking for a new contract here or a way out. Do you think there's anything in that?
Yeah, I do. I think he was fantastic while the transfer window was still open. He was amazing, right? Yeah. It was old Antonio. You know he's got it in his locker, right? And I mean, he shouldn't be tired. What do you have a bit part against them the other night, didn't he? Or did he play the whole game? I didn't even go, right?
It was a bit part. He came on to sort of, he did help.
Yeah, that's right. He came on and helped win the game, didn't he? Right? He changed it around. Because he took the attention off of Kudus, who was on the right with two men on him. Yeah.
He was poor today, Kudus, wasn't he?
Yeah. So, he was, but he tried to get on the ball, didn't he? He tried to get on the ball. I mean, first of all,
he looked like David Moyes has said.
No, he didn't. Not early on. I mean, he's put him on the pitch. And he said, "Go on, son, go up there and be Antonio."
Yeah, that's
what he said, right?
Yeah.
What's the point in that? What is the point in that? It's just. It does my head in. It really does. After he played so well the other night, I know it was against the Dog and Duck, but at the same time, he scored 2 goals. What more can you ask for? He looked full of running, full of excitement. And for me today, when he came on, he tried, but then he just fucking gave up. He gave up after about 5 minutes of trying, right?
Yeah.
He got on the ball quite a few times when he first came on, if you watch it back. But he's not going to get a game in the Premier League. He's not going to get a start for fucking ages, right? It ain't going to happen. Mavropanos, I don't care. It doesn't matter how badly Aguerd plays. He's going to start. He's a left-sided defender. And Mavropanos is a right-sided defender. So in Moyes' head,
I know.
Aguerd has to start.
But
right?
one second, let me interrupt you for 1 minute. Damien's put up a comment here which aligns with everything that kind of we've said or that I've said recently, which is when you play a low block, and all you do is you invite the opposition on time and time again. You can't expect Areola to have 10 out of 10 performances every week and fucking save your ass. No. You can't expect your defenders to not crack under pressure when all you're doing is inviting that pressure on all the time. Our goals are always going to be down to mistakes because at some point throughout 90 minutes, when they're under that much pressure, they're going to fuck up. It must be impossible, Gary, to play in that system as a defender and remain switched on. Agree. And remain switched on for the whole game.
What we said the other week is still true, right? I don't think Aguerd is a bad player. I don't, but he's playing badly because this doesn't suit him, and this is embarrassing him, right? This is tanking him as a player, right? Because he cannot play in this system. We also said over and over again, if West Ham can really set up with a solid back four and Alvarez in front, and we could be really tough to break down. Real dogged, determined, tough to break down, and don't make mistakes, then this could work, right? But what happens? We play brilliantly for 10, 15 minutes. We concede a goal. The arse falls out of the defence, right? Literally falls out of defence before your very eyes. And we go and we start, instead of pushing forward and looking for an equaliser, we sit back. We did get an equaliser, a good equaliser from Bowen. But that was against the run of play by that time. It was, and we went in at 1-1 at half time, and we're thinking, well, we've got a chance, haven't we? Thinking we've got a chance. Liverpool weren't really doing anything special, not that I saw. And then second half, we came out, and it's like we were playing for the draw.
Yeah. Well, no,
that's what it felt like.
That is what we, and that is ridiculous because I'm not being funny. We showed in the first 10 minutes. I mean, look, fair enough. You can say we got caught out because we gave the penalty away after 16 minutes. But up until that point, we weren't just in the game. We were the better team. We were the better team up to that point. I think we were. We should have had 2 goals. And that was because we played on the front foot. We played further up the pitch and we pegged Liverpool back. You don't invite these teams on. You don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes of a game, if you've got like a 1-goal lead, I can understand it. You know, maybe sit a little bit deeper at that point. But when is that ever going to work? Well, we've proved this season we haven't kept a clean sheet in a single game, even against TSC, who are nobody really. And that's what I was saying. If after 4 games of this season, we had an amazing start. We was top, we was second, we was fourth, now we're sixth, then we're seventh. And we had people after 4 games going, "It's amazing. Your 4-year contract, this is brilliant." But the fact of the matter is, you'd have to be something wrong with you to not identify that the way that we play, and this is why I was banging on about style, because when you play that way, you can see that if that is the plan for the season, it's got a small shelf life. You're not going to be able to sustain it. These mistakes are going to start coming in. Yeah. If all you're doing is you're making 3 chances in a game, like against Brighton, and we was as clinical as fuck and putting them all away. The strikers that we've got, Antonio isn't going to put every chance away. Yeah. Bowen's not going to. So it doesn't weigh up really, and that was why, particularly at the start, I was banging on about style, and that is because I do think it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm just not getting. You know, you're again. We're slightly different in. Look, I'm not happy with it. But I'm just going to see how it plays out. I know how I think it's going to play out. And this is kind of how I think it's going to play out, which is whenever we come up against a decent side, we're going to get beat, right? Yeah. Because you cannot sit deep against a good side. Imagine we're going to do this against Newcastle.
No, I know. Really? No, they will punish us. They really fucking will, because they're probably the most attacking team in the league.
They're full of pace as well.
Yeah. So that would be and Villa. I mean, the only thing is with Villa, if we're on point, we might hit them on the counter attack because they play a very, very high line, more so than Newcastle. But Villa are a good team. They're playing well this year. Sheffield United, you've got to look at that. That has to be that we've got to win that game. I'm not saying it's a 6-pointer. If we don't win it, we're going down or anything like that. But I believe what Sheffield United will do is dictate where the league goes from here. Personally, I think if we lose that game, that's 3 on the spin, and then we've got Newcastle and Aston Villa. You've got to try and pull a miracle out at that point in one of them games.
Yeah, no, look, we've got to beat Sheffield United, and to be fair, whenever it comes to games like this, must win home games against weaker sides. He tends to pull it out, right? It does tend to work. So I do expect to win against Sheffield United, but I don't expect an 8-0. I expect like a 1-0 or a 2-0 or something like that. It's going to be a dreadful game of football. Watch, it's going to be awful. But having said that, we'll have all the possession because they'll just be sitting back, trying to sort of grind us down. I think Garino says, end of the day, we played well against Man City and Liverpool and created chances, but we're not clinical. That's the difference between top 6 and not. Well, we're going to be nowhere near top 6 by the end of this year, I'm afraid. I don't think we won't be in the top 10. We won't finish in the top 10 this year.
Well,
I'll reserve judgment on that. We'll see what happens because, again, Garino's right in that not every week we're going to be playing, one of the big sides like Man City or Liverpool. But I think Man City are in a different category, Garino, to Liverpool. Man City are just fucking awesome. They're just clinical. They're brutal. Yeah. And in the second half last week, they showed how brutal they could be. I mean, they really were. They weren't quite out in the first. Liverpool. No, they didn't really fill me with any sort of fear today. But the thing is, it's so annoying that we just go to Anfield, roll over and lose 3-1. We just lose again. That's David Moyes' 19th trip to Anfield without a win. Yeah. It's hardly a surprise, is it?
I'm agreeing with Mace. Mace says we should be past the point of accepting mediocrity here. Did we sell our spiritual home for permanent shoulder shrugging, low expectation? This is a thing. This constant. We're playing Liverpool. You've got to go and make a good fist of it. You have, and to be quite honest, I think we proved. And this is the other thing as well. We've got the personnel to be better, a lot better than a lot of. I'm telling you now, right? You look at what fucking Ange Postecoglou's done with Tottenham, and that isn't with bringing a load of players in, but what he's done with that team. If you gave him this group of players for a month, for a couple of months, if he had a pre-season, we would be impressive. I'm telling you, we would be. We have a good group. We've got a good squad already. We're not shit. We're not Sheffield United. We don't have to sit deep and play a low block to exist. You don't need it. It
Yeah, but
ain't
Nick,
worked anyway.
Nick,
Why do it against
Nick in
Man
the
City?
Premier League.
But Gary, Man City could and should have scored fucking 6 or 7 goals anyway.
Yeah, I know they should have. But what I'm saying is, right, Moyes has a set of players that he will use in the Premier League, and the others don't get a look in, right? And that includes Mavropanos, that includes Kera, it includes Kudus, who gets the last 20 minutes when we're losing at Anfield and gets put up as a striker and told to impersonate Antonio. You know, this is potentially in the Premier League another Vlasic in the making. I didn't think it, but I do think it now because he's just not going to use him right, and he's not going to give him a chance. I don't know when he's going to start him. We've just spent 50 million quid on this kid, and he can't get a fucking start in the Premier League when a team is playing so diabolically bad as we did today, except for Bowen and Paqueta. Oh, and Emerson,
and
right?
Danny Ings comes on again as well.
Danny Ings comes on before Mabama because Mabama's not going to get a fucking look in. He might as well demand a loan somewhere else because he's not going to be used after a great season, double winning for the youth side. Scores goals even when he plays for us in the pre-season in the senior team. Comes to the Premier League. Oh, you got no Premier League experience, son. Kudus got no Premier League experience, son. How are you going to get Premier League experience, Dave? How's that going to happen? You know, Alvarez comes in, no Premier League experience, son. Oh, but hang on, he's a defender. Yeah, straight in. There you go. Yeah. There's your debut. I don't care about Premier League experience, but down the other end, oh, no chance. Oh, no, you got no Premier League experience. So play Souček. Play fucking Souček. And nothing against Souček because I think he did all right today, but he shouldn't be in the team. He should not be in the team. Yeah, we knew what the selection would be today, Nick. We knew it last week. We knew it before the game last week. We knew what he'd play against Man City, and it's the same one he played today. We hardly keep the opposition guessing, do we?
It's predictable. But we know that. We know it's predictable. And but the thing is, with what really fucks me off, right? Okay, and bear in mind, still the best player on the pitch by a country mile was Paqueta out on the left. He ain't a fucking left winger. He should be in the middle of the pitch, dictating play. He should not be shoehorned out the middle of the park. That is not a natural position for him. If he's doing well out on the left, it'd be amazing in the middle. Well, he is amazing in the middle. There is no way he should be pushed out there. It's ridiculous. No, he's still managing to create and everything else. And this isn't a manhunt on Souček either. I think he's still got a big part to play at the club. I'm softening on him, but I don't think he's a starter. I don't think he should start. I think
no, he shouldn't. No,
you know, he shouldn't. Not in every single game. And the way we've played in the last 2 games. And I think it's detrimental to Alvarez's game because Alvarez didn't have as good a game today. Because you done the same thing. We put Souček next to Alvarez again. The pair of them were sat next to each other. Alvarez doesn't need that. You play 1 CDM and 2 box-to-box players. When we've kind of looked at that, that's all you need to do. And then you kind of funnel the players. The number 8s funnel the players towards Alvarez. He sweeps up. We don't need to sit 2 CDMs in front of the fucking backline. It causes frustration. Moyes seems to think that more bodies equals more protection. That isn't the case. It creates confusion. It creates fucking confusion.
Of course it does. They got in their way. They got in each other's way several times today. And you're right. Alvarez did not have a great game. And Souček is always, you know what we're getting when he plays that team that he started with today. You know that is defense first. There's no attacking flair there because Paqueta's going to be locked out on the left wing. Souček's going to be another defense. Even Ward-Prowse was playing behind Alvarez at certain points in that first half. You know that Alvarez was up the pitch and Ward-Prowse was playing deep. Ward-Prowse is our one and only, apart from Paqueta, playmaker, and he had a stinker today as well. Right, he was anonymous. Honestly, everything he did today, everything Moyes did today, including the substitutions, was awful. Yeah. And talking of substitutions, why do we do the slowest substitutions ever? I mean, firstly, you can set your watch by it, right? When it was 1-0 at half time, right? Ross said to me, we watched it ago, said, "Oh, maybe you've been Kudus on." I said, "No, not till 70 minutes, right? 67 minutes, up stands Kudus, and 4-0 they start warming up. 74 minutes, they come onto the pitch. They've been standing on the byline for 7 minutes, right? So, no surprise substitutions, no surprise change of tactics from Moyes. Klopp's been sitting there. He's had 7 minutes to mull over. Oh, Kudus and Fornells are coming on. Wonder what I'm going to do. Oh, perhaps we'll see who they take off first. Now, then I'll make a change. And it's so irritating. It's so irritating. He does it every time. Have you ever seen any other team stand substitutes on the byline for between 7 and 10 minutes?
He's done it already.
Every time.
He done it in the last game against Man City. He had Kudus and Benny standing there for 6 minutes.
Yeah, ages. So it's been going on all last year and the year before. That's what he does.
Yeah, I know. It's it is very, very frustrating. But the thing is, if he does the same, I mean, Glenn says here, look, we played the second half with no outlets. We didn't because Antonio wasn't on it at all. And the thing is, the way that David Moyes plays, it's so important to have a focal point. You have to have a focal point. And it is so insane that we didn't bother going out and getting a striker, because I think what has been proved by Kudus is that he is in no way, he's not a striker in a David Moyes system. He's never going to be. So get that out of your head. Neither is Bowen, neither is Ings. I don't think Mabama is going to be either, although I do think that Mabama is probably more physically suited to doing that type of role. But how the fuck can we not have replaced a striker that it took us 18 months to find, and then we lose him after 6 months? And then how can we not have replaced him as a priority? Because Antonio,
this is what we do.
But even if Antonio's fit, he can only play 60 minutes anyway. So you need another one.
This is what we do, right? We take ages and ages to buy a striker. Eventually, we get one. They get a handful of games, and then we don't use them anymore.
Do you remember how Moyes out Eastside was? And then we've had a couple of wins. Honestly, Eastside has properly flipped. I didn't have you down as a flip-flop, Eastside. I didn't.
Can't blame the manager for missed opportunities.
No.
What about all the missed opportunities that Liverpool had?
Exactly. You know, it's
they should have had more goals.
Yeah, no, I know. He's lying. Look, he says I hate Moyes. He don't. He's got Moyes pants.
Yeah. No, look. Listen, I was really underwhelmed by today.
I'm well behind. Right.
Yeah. I was really underwhelmed by today. I mean, seriously, that was such a dull watch. It was such a dull watch in that second half. We knew what was coming. We knew the changes he was going to make. The only surprise was he brought Kudus on before Ings, but we knew Ings was coming on, right? At some point, squad seniority and all that, he had to come on. Fornells, I don't know what's happened to him, but he gets the ball and just slows the game down. I mean, there was one chance he had a time to break, just dwelt on the ball, and Liverpool got all their numbers back. I mean, what has happened to Fornells?
Well, I thought he's been like that for a while.
He's been moised.
He's been moised.
Yeah,
we know he's a good player, but he never. I mean, he came on again in Europe the other day. He played in central midfield. He was anonymous in that game, but he weren't on his own. He was largely shit across the board. I think it's a shame with Fornells, particularly. That kind of upsets me. We know he's a good player. He ain't shit.
Listen, right, at the beginning of this season, I predicted it would be like Sam Allardyce's last season, like a non-event, right? And I still believe that. That's why I'm not really getting too upset about it, because I kind of expect it. I don't expect to beat City or Liverpool. I do expect to beat Sheffield United next week. I don't expect to beat Newcastle or Villa, right? So I don't think we're going to go on a long run. I think if we get beat or don't win next week, then I think you start to think, oh, hang on, something amiss here. But especially if he plays the same players and the same tactics. And you know what makes me think he's going to stick with Souček next week and the defensive tactic? It's because after the Luton game where Souček was banned or injured, can't remember, injured, right? He said in the post-match interview, we really missed Tommy today. He's standard 11 now. His standard 11 now is what you saw today and last week against everybody. I'm telling you that now.
I don't think he'll do it against Sheffield. If he does, I'm going to lose my shit.
I bet you 10
I mean that as well. And the thing is, it does. And the thing is, you know what's annoying, right? Because we should beat Sheffield United, no matter what lineup we put out.
Yeah,
but it doesn't make it right. If he picks that team and we beat Sheffield United 1-0, and we get past him, it doesn't mean David Moyes is right. It can't be a one size fits all against every fucking team.
Of course it can't. No, but yeah, it's that, I think that's my prediction. I think he might do something about Aguerd, because how long can you ignore a problem that keeps costing you goals? I don't think you can. he was a centre half. I think he would always play Souček because he can't be directly, blamed for anything. But I think that's what he'll do. With regards to Souček, he will keep his place in the team. So that's my prediction for next week. I think Benrahma continues to sit on the bench, so does Kudus. I don't think he cares how many attacking things. I'll tell you what he does, right, Moyes? He depends on the talented players like Paqueta, like James Ward-Prowse.
To get him out of trouble.
To get him out of trouble with a bit of individual brilliance. And so that's why he's shoved Kudus on, go up front, son. And he's thinking, he might nick us a goal. Now, there's no strategy behind it. There's no strategy about getting the ball to Kudus. They haven't spoken about it before the game and said, going to put you on for the last 20 minutes, son. You're going to play up front. This is how we're going to use you. Let the other players know this is how we're going to use you. Right? Sort of plan ahead. No, he just does it. He said, go up there. See if one hits you on the arse. And, that is what he does with flair players. Flair players have no part in his strategy whatsoever. They are just individuals who might create you a goal.
I'm going to say this now. I personally think, this is my opinion, when people say Moyes masterclass, Moyes ball, I think it's incredibly, incredibly lazy tactics. I think that when all you do is you just cram bodies in the defence to make it hard to play through, and then you just rely on moments of individual brilliance to win you games, that is not coaching a fucking football team. That is not passages of play. I know we beat Brighton, but if you look at the way they play, if you look at Newcastle, overlapping players, interplay, all these different patterns of play, you don't see that from West Ham. You'll see moments where the players take the ball by the horns and we start holding onto the ball because we've got good footballers, but it doesn't happen very often. It happened against City for about the half an hour mark. We held onto the ball for a while, and we looked better than them for 5 minutes just before Soufal scored. But then we came out after half time. The tactics were reset. It was like, no, fuck all that. Sit back, sit deep. Don't take any chances. Can he not understand that if you've got the ball more than the opposition, there's less chance of that threatening team getting towards your goal?
It's a different focus, Nick. You're focused on winning the game. He's focused on taking a point from half time, right? That is it. And then you know very well when he goes 2-1 down, what he tries to do when he's 2-1 down, because Antonio told us this, standard tactic is to wait till 70 minutes and bring someone on, which is exactly what he did today, right? Yeah. Exactly what he did today. And it didn't fucking work. We just conceded a third goal. But that is standard Moyes ball. Standard Moyes ball. And I hate it. I hate the football.
You're picking up your see.
No. I hate it, but I'm not going to go off on one. It's what I expect. It's what I expect. Like I also expect him to be bombed out of here in the summer, right? I completely expect it. I think this season is going to be a non-event. I stand by it. We ain't going to get relegated. But we're going to finish.
There's so many people. I mean, when I was calling out the style or moaning about the style, which everyone knows I don't like. But we were scraping a few wins, basically. And you've got people saying, it don't matter how we play. Stop fucking moaning. It don't matter about the style. But my point was, the style is indicative of how the season is going to unfold. If that is a style, what I'm trying to say is, that ain't going to work all season. That's why I'm calling out the style. I think we was lucky in a couple of games. That's all it is. And that's what I mean. If all of a sudden... Yeah, but what I'm saying is, Gary, if all of a sudden some of these people that have been saying style don't matter start coming out and criticising our style of play... then they're fucking idiots, to be quite honest.
Style does matter because it wins your football matches, basically, right? If you want to talk about it like that instead. Yeah. Because, they're saying style don't matter. Well, style clearly does matter, right? It clearly does matter. Because this style don't work against good sides. Every single decent side, Tottenham, Newcastle, Arsenal, everybody else, are going to rump us. When we go out and play like this. We'll beat teams. Home and away.
We're going to concede so many chances in games. We'll beat teams that are shit up front and ain't clinical and can't convert their chances. They're the teams that we'll beat. They're the teams that we'll beat.
We'll beat the Evertons. We'll beat the Evertons and teams like that. The teams that we beat at home last year to get us out of trouble, right? Yeah. That's exactly what we'll do this year. They're the games we win. And that's how he saves his job.
One piece of good news from West Ham United, Mac. As you know, loads of people have been putting out loads of Jesse Lingard talk. Fuck all that. I haven't done that. I've done my little Jesse Lingard video ages ago. I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he ain't joining. That is one piece of good news. It is.
Fuck off, Jesse.
Yeah.
Don't have to mention him ever again. Ever again.
I've been told that Sullivan was never ever going to sign him. We pulled him back into the club because Moyes wanted him,
Yeah.
and Moyes was trying to convince Sullivan all of this time. Sullivan weren't interested at all. Apparently, Sullivan did make Lingard an offer. This is what I'm told. But
Fuck.
but apparently it didn't meet his expectations. So God knows what it was.
Well, look.
God knows what it
he
was.
would have been expected. Him and his brother would have been expecting a Forest-style deal, like 100 and something grand a week, right? I mean, on what planet, right? I mean, 20 grand a week. Go on, there you go, 20 grand a week.
Yeah,
he's in Saudi training with Gerrard's team, who are the poorest team in Saudi. They've got no money.
No, I know. Yeah, but they're still rich.
Oh, Lincoln City. Kudus is going to get a game on Wednesday. And Mavropanos. Fucking hell, they must be relieved.
Yeah, but that means nothing, does it? You know, I mean,
no, but that's
but do you remember the Europa? Do you remember the Europa Conference League games where Down's got man of the match twice in a row and still didn't get a fucking game in the Premier League? It means nothing to Moyes. It means nothing to him.
No, it doesn't. It means absolutely bugger all. And honestly, you know, the only way we're going to win this Europa League is if we're not going to win the Europa League. You know, we're going to get the only way we're going to win a trophy is to get relegated to the Conference League.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's the only chance we got. And to be honest, I don't want to see. Look, I'd love to see us win a trophy. Of course, I would. I can't quite say this, but you know, now we've won one. I think if it means Moyes staying, I'd rather not win it again. See what I mean?
Yeah, we're because
we've won it. We've won it already.
I've done it now.
Yeah,
you know, and that's what I mean. I'm glad we've won a trophy. I'd never change it for anything. Even if it meant having to put up with football I don't like for another year. But now, when I look at what Tottenham have got, and I don't think Tottenham are going to win anything. And I've spoken to a few Tottenham fans now, and honestly, I'm not joking. They've all, and these are smug, horrible Tottenham fans, but each and every one of them, they've said, you know what? If we can just get top 6, top 4, not win anything, he said, but watch it. He said, but watch it, because they've been watching shit football for 5 years. He said, but this is the guy I spoke to. He said, this is the first time I've enjoyed watching the team. He said, we're going out there and we're going at teams. He said, it's so exciting. And he said himself, he said, don't get me wrong, I think we're going to get fucked in a few games. He said, I think we are. We're going to get found out in a couple. He said, but it's so exciting. He said that, and the manager, they've got a manager that literally builds expectation. You know, that's what he wants.
He's fantastic with fans as well. The way he talks about the fans, it's like a love affair, you know. I'd love to. That is the West Ham way, if you like. To actually, I was saying it last week. The West Ham way is to go out and have a go at everyone. You know, don't do this bottling, cowardly shit that we're doing at the moment.
No.
Sit back and invite people on and give them the ball and see if we can hold out, you know. And the slightest mistake, you got 3 out your 4 defenders having a mare. You know, if we had a rock-solid, top-class backline, I might be able to understand it. But we can see clearly now, after several games of doing this, we don't.
I mean, a lot of people have said, you know, with this style, like, they take a lot of pride from winning it in a shit-house style. Like being shit and basically suffocating the opposition, like absorb all them chances and then going and hitting someone on the break. Shit ass wins are the best wins. I love them. Not for me. I mean, it's great to get a win, but that is crap. You're spending the whole game on the edge of your seat, but for the wrong reason, because you're worried you're going to concede. And then you get that moment of relief. Well, it's relief when you go and get the goal at the end. It's just, it's pants football.
No, I agree with you. I don't like that at all. I don't like it at all. I'd still much rather see us on the front foot attacking teams and winning a game through playing attacking football and scoring a few goals is far better than shithousing a 1-0. Who can disagrey with that? Anyone in the chat disagree with that?
No, I don't know. I don't think many people will.
Yeah, I honestly, there's sometimes when a shithouse win against a team who are much better than you, you know, it's quite comical. But shithousing against Luton, for instance.
Yeah, Pie Mash and Nicker says, how can Kudus look good at Ajax but so shit with us? Simple answer is Moyes. Every player has got worse since that has been here. New manager, more success, Moyes out. Well, there's certain players that he can't Moyes. Paqueta, he could play Paqueta in goal and he'd still look sexy. Paqueta would. There's certain players that Moyes can't fuck up. You know, he could play Paqueta at left back and he'd still look amazing. But if you look at where he's playing Paqueta at the moment and the way he's using him, it's outrageous the way we're using Paqueta at the minute. It is. You know,
and look, for those who said, "Oh, Moyes and Staunton love each other now and they're best buddies,"
that's bullshit.
And you know, I think we're seeing quite clearly that they're not best buddies. Alvarez, when he went and got him, it was made very clear that Moyes had been looking at him for a couple of years and knew the player, right?
Yeah.
Mavropanos and Kudus, well, look, the evidence is right in front of your eyes. Spent a combined 70 million, and Moyes won't even give him a start in the Premier League, even when the defence is shit. Yeah. And we can't make a goal to save our lives down the other end. Right, I'm talking about against a decent team. You've got to make a place on the pitch for someone that cost us 50 million quid. You really do.
Gary, very, very quickly, Peter Chelmsford, he says, imagine how bad it would have been defensively with Slaphead, because he's an accident waiting to happen. Imagine if we'd have bought him. Could you imagine putting him in there as well?
Yeah, but again, Nick, he would have played every single game because we would have been playing with a back. You know, what would have happened there is we would have been playing with a back three with him at the heart of the defence. That's exactly what would have happened. It was all worked out. This is how Moyes wants to play. He's effectively playing, you know, with a back three, you have to kind of give up one of your attacking players, right? So it means you've got a vast amount of defence in the team, and that is because it ain't a back. Well, it's more like a back five when Moyes plays it, not a back three, right? So you end up with like one, maybe two attacking players up pitch. Well, using a different formation, that's exactly what Moyes has recreated, right? By keeping Souček in the side, that's what he's recreated. Benrahma on the bench, Kudus on the bench, anyone with any hope of trying to create 100%. Something on the bench, anyone on the pitch with a hope of creating something, sidelined out wide or forced to play deep so that they can't get their head up and try and find the striker and try and play a ball, right? That's what was happening to Ward-Prowse early in that game. I saw it. Me and Ross were sitting there. We were saying, are you seeing what I'm seeing? You know, he's actually behind. Alvarez was up the pitch near the halfway line. Ward-Prowse was back there. I said, what the is happening there?
It's basically they don't really know what they're doing. But Hammers, Mikey, yeah, they'll be back when we beat Sheffield, mate. They'll all be back. They've gone.
Yeah,
a lot of Spurs fans. Do you know when Spurs lose and they go missing, and then when they win, they come similar. Out.
Do you reckon they are Spurs fans?
I think they are.
Yeah, they could be. They could be.
Damien says Paqueta made me laugh because I'm telling you now, Paqueta is literally he's taking the piss. He's even defensively. In front of our own 18-yard box, right? He was rolling players and taking. I bet Moyes was having a fucking panic attack. I bet he was having a panic attack because he wasn't hoofing it out. But he's so class. He's so class.
When he had the two players around him and he's kind of rolled it and got over and he's come out with a ball. I thought, you arrogant?
Brilliant.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's entertainment, right?
He's in the top 10 players in the Premier League. I'm telling you, he is.
Of course, he is, but he can't be dropped. And Moyes would drop him if he could. I'm fucking certain of it, right? He'd much rather have another bread and butter defender.
Could you imagine the West Ham fans if he drops?
Exactly. Could you imagine? He can't. It would look crazy if he dropped him, right? Crazy.
Yeah, I know.
But he hasn't even started Kudus yet, so not starting him doesn't look crazy because. No one knows what he can do in the Premier League yet. But fucking hell, we're not going to know what he can do unless he gets a chance, are we? And you play him as a striker. A striker. You're Vlasicing him, right?
Gary.
Vlasic.
Gary, stop talking a minute. We need to get into the player ratings. We're 40 minutes in already.
Can I just say just one more thing, right? Vlasic.
What's your name?
Vlasic was
for Gary?
Vlasic was rubbish, wasn't he? Right? Vlasic was rubbish for us, but he was never allowed to play in his natural position.
He's not rubbish, though. He's not rubbish.
No, he was rubbish for us. It was rubbish for us because he was well and truly Moyes. He was put on as a left winger. The guy had no pace. He couldn't cross a ball to save his life, especially with his left foot, and it ruined him. He didn't get a look in. And so after several games of substitute appearances on the left-hand side, that is where our players go to die. So that's where I expected Kudus to find himself, to be honest.
Well, Gary, stop talking a minute. And actually talk about Areola. Talk to me about Areola. Come on. Because we want to get onto the calls.
Well, I don't think he was at fault for any of the goals. I think his handling was good as usual. I thought he had average game, really. But he let him 3 goals. He couldn't really have done anything about them. But the penalty was, it was a good penalty. But you remember Blackburn when he didn't touch a ball? Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
6.
6. Average. Yeah. No, that's fine.
Yeah, average, yeah.
Yeah. Right. I'll go Emerson. Apart from the mistake he made towards the end of the game when he was knackered and he was out on his feet, because Geezer's up and down all game long. I'm giving him a 7. I think he's into play with Paqueta. He's on his. That's the only good thing about having Paqueta out there is he's those two.
Yeah.
You know, the interplay between those two. I mean, when you can look at that, the left hand side versus the right hand side is quite embarrassing, really. But
Yeah.
hang on, I've got to get that donkey off of Soufal's head. That wasn't intentional. That was from last week. But no, I'm going to give Emerson a 7. I think he played really, really well. He is up
I
and
agree.
down, just constantly. I think he's a brilliant player. I do.
I do as well. He's the solid performer defensively of the season so far.
Yeah. No, he is. He is.
You always get a 7 out of 10 at least with him, don't you?
Cresswell just looked like he couldn't be asked the other day in that European game.
Yeah, we wanted the 3-year deal at Wolves, didn't he? It's probably still bitter.
I know. Right. Aguero, Gary.
Oh, absolutely terrible. Listen, I blame him for 2 goals, and I did draw the parallel between that ball over the top of Man City last week and the ball over the top here. The only difference being he mistimed his jump last week. This week, he just didn't even move, and before you know it, Nunes was in the clear. So I blame him for both of those goals. I also blame Zuma a bit for that goal as well, but it did go over Aguero's head. And I suspect that other Premier League managers are now looking at that thinking, ooh, that's how you do it. That's how you beat the low block.
Yeah,
go over the top of Aguero. He gets lost. So yeah, he's got to stop making these basic errors, and for me, he's got to be dropped. I thought the penalty was stonewall, and it was so easy. I mean, I know Salah made sure it was a penalty by diving over his leg, but
it was a lazy sort of attempt. I thought.
It was. You don't give Salah that kind of chance because it's always going to be a penalty, isn't it? So yeah. And that was at a point in the game, that penalty, when we were looking good. He completely killed that game for us. Stone dead.
Yeah. I mean, I'm brutal. Yeah, I'd be donking him up. I've got to be honest. I know a lot of people don't want to, but when you're involved in 2 of the goals that you concede out of 3. That's a poor performance on my book.
And I caveat it by saying, "Oh yeah, he don't belong in his system," which he don't, and everything else. And Moyes is hanging him out to dry. But you got to judge it on the performance. And he's cost us 2 goals. He cost us a goal last week. He cost us a goal earlier in the season. It keeps costing us goals. Got to stop.
I know. Right. So I'll go Kurt Zuma. This is probably his worst performance of the season, I'd say. He's been bad. He's been solid. He's been solid all year. So everyone is allowed a bad performance. He was nothing compared to Aguero in terms of his bad performance. So I'm going to give him a 6. It was an average. All I know is that partnership that people have been talking about is not all it's cracked up to be in my opinion. With Zuma and Aguero, I think Mavropanos looks like he could be a far better, more solid player. Or if you're going to play a low block, use Ogbonna. I know he made the horrendous mistake in Europe, but he's going to if he's sitting on the fucking halfway line. He ain't got the legs to get back.
At least him and Zuma have a really good relationship together.
Yeah.
We know that, right? We know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people being look. Zuma was also a donkey.
Yeah,
so I don't think he was. A donkey.
I wouldn't give him a donkey. He weren't as bad as Aguero by any stretch of the imagination, but he was poor.
Yeah,
he was poor.
Yeah, mate, I'll tell you what, I will be affected by the chat on this one because there's a lot of 4s and 5s. I'll level with you. I
won't argue with it.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to go for a 5. All right, I'll adjust it. He ain't getting donkey though. I don't think he was directly at fault for any goals today, was he? So
it wasn't. No, it wasn't quite a donkey, was it? It wasn't quite a donkey.
And this bloke, I'm sorry, he's just not a Premier League fullback. He's
no. Soufal is this my one? Yes, Soufal is not a Premier League fullback. Hasn't been for about a year. He puts in the odd great performance when he's up for it and he's at it and he's up against the right player. Right, as soon as he's up against someone with pace, which is pretty much every week, he don't know where to go. He doesn't know what to do. He's out of his depth. Right.
Yeah.
Apart from the cross that he made today for the goal, the assist, he was poor. I'm going to give him a 5. I don't want to donkey him. I'll give him a 5.
But even Joe, what the cross was shit. I think Bowen made.
Yeah,
Bowen did a good job.
But the assist stops me giving him a donkey, right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
That's
I'll be honest. I wouldn't donkey him up today. I don't think he was. It wasn't a donkey performance, but it was. No. I just don't.
He just looks fearful, Nick. He just looks fearful whenever someone runs at him, and it puts the wind up me. It's like it reminds me of when we had Masuaku, when people used to run at him. You think, oh my god, you know.
I know. I know. Right, Lucas Paqueta. I'll take Lucas. I just thought he was absolutely outstanding today. He
Yeah,
was,
he was.
like I say, Moyes can shoo all him out the way so that he can put Souček in there. He can play all those games if he wants. It doesn't affect his individual brilliance and his individual performance. I think, as someone said in the chat earlier on, the guy almost just looks like he's just out there having fun now. I think he's just he's on a different
I think he's
level.
going in January. I think he's going in January. I think he's just enjoying himself. I think you're right.
He's showcasing his talent. He's not letting. That's what he's doing in every game. He's showcasing his talent, and I'm glad he is, because without him, he's the only. When he gets the ball, is the only time I get excited, Gary. It is.
Yeah, no, same here.
So I hate to think of us without him, because he is far and away our best player. I mean, I mean that as well. I think if you're looking in terms of now, if we had Declan Rice and Lucas Paqueta next to each other in the same team, and they said you got to sell one, I'd fuck Rice off every day and keep Paqueta.
Yeah,
that's what I'd be doing.
I do agree with you, but I think we are watching his swan song, and I think in January he'll be gone. We won't sign any new players in January because we've got Kudus to take his position. That is, Kudus has just got to be patient, because he's only another 3 months, isn't it, until he gets a game, right? He's going
to have to be some player to replace Paqueta.
Oh yeah, I know. He can't replace Paqueta. He's not in the same class as Paqueta. It doesn't matter how good he is. Paqueta's unique. He's like a Payet type player. He's special.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really special, and he's a pleasure to watch. And people sometimes have a go at him for losing the ball and stuff like that. Well, look, he just doesn't stop trying shit. He doesn't stop trying shit all the way through the game. He's the one that's trying to make something happen, no matter where Moyes plays him to try and shut him up.
I know.
He will try and make stuff happen.
The ball just sticks to him. He can have a crowd of players, even top class players, like against Liverpool. It just sticks to him. He's beautiful to watch.
He got a round of applause from the Liverpool fans when he came off today.
So he should have. Yeah, but then again, they gave Danny Ings a round of applause when he came on.
Yeah, I know.
I think they were just happy. I'd have been happy at 3-1.
Yeah.
Well done, mate. Yeah, you done.
Well played.
Yeah, go and fuck off. Right, Thomas Souček, Gary.
Well, I thought he had look. I didn't want to see him in the team, but he didn't do badly, and he nearly scored a goal.
He played all right.
He kind of does what he's told to do, which is go around blocking people. He done all right, 6.
Yeah, he done all right. And a very quick score for the next one. For Alvarez, 6 as well. I think we lost the midfield today. We lost we did lose the midfield. So I'm not going to talk too much on Alvarez. He was fine. Don't get me wrong. There was no misplaced passes. He carries the ball well.
He made a few mistakes at the end, didn't he? But,
he did, but he was fine. But like I said, the way that the balance in that midfield today looked fucked. Like you just said, at 1 minute Alvarez was at number 10, and you had James Ward-Prowse back, and then that was all. I don't know what was going on. It just looked like there was no structure to it.
When I saw him up front, when I saw him playing like the number 10 role, Alvarez, it took me back to Flynn Downs when Moyes played him as a number 10. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So honestly, he would play with 11 defenders if he could.
Yeah, no, I know. Right, James Ward-Prowse. This was a type of performance that I thought we was going to get from James Ward-Prowse. To be quite honest, it wasn't very good.
He's not a fucking magician, though, is he? The whole team was off, right?
No, he's been absolutely amazing. But he was the worst of the midfielders. Souček was better today.
Yeah, probably.
Well, his set pieces weren't even on it. He had a few opportunities, didn't he? So
I wouldn't mark it. Not a donkey performance.
No.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh, right. Okay. No, I wouldn't say it's a donkey performance. I thought he tried. He got
I wouldn't donkey him up.
He gave the ball away. He gave the ball away a lot. He was playing in what looked like a really unfamiliar role, which I attribute to an overall poor performance. So yeah, I'll give him a 5.
Give him a 5.
There was nothing there. There was nothing there really.
He was the worst of the bunch. I mean, obviously Paqueta was far and away the best, but yeah, here's what it is. Those ones that played in the centre, they weren't great at all. Right. I've never put a donkey on Mickey's head. in all the time
it's
that I've been
depressing.
doing
You
this.
look at this formation, Nick. Look at this formation. It's like we're either playing 4-4, 2 wingers, or 4-4, 1 winger and a sort of striker.
No, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's
You know?
shit. But yeah, Antonio, I've never put a donkey on his head. I'm a bit of an Antonio fanboy. I am.
Yeah.
But he irritated me earlier in the week with the podcast, and I was sitting there thinking, for fuck's sake, please make sure you deliver on the because you know what I mean. But he was poor today. He was shit. And it was, he had a great opportunity to it was a really fucking good opportunity that he had. There was a lack of effort there. So I am in this one. This is going to be, I think, this is going to be his first donkey.
Yeah, he deserves a donkey, because this took me back to European games, I think last year or the year before, where he was going down all the time, didn't get anything from the referee, but carried on going down.
Yeah, no, I know.
Lazy performance.
Gary, Jared Bowen, on to you.
Yeah, I thought Bowen did as well as he could. Apparently, he was a little bit under the weather today. Apparently, but yeah, again, a great finish. Got through a lot of work. So even when Bowen's got a virus, Kudus doesn't get a start on the right wing.
I know.
It says it all, doesn't it? It says it all. So you've got to give him a
do you know Bowen would have been playing in that European game as well? You know, where Kudus. No, I'm saying if he hadn't have had the virus, you know, he probably would have been playing in that, I think. Bowen.
Oh, more than likely, because what we've got, right, we've got, even though he's got a much bigger squad now, a much bigger, broader, more expensive squad, we've got the same old David Moyes who only uses 13 or 14 players, right? And everybody else just come in when one of those 13 or 14 are not injured, right? But that's what we're seeing, just a rotation of the same core players all the time, right?
Yeah, You've got
to remember the other night.
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, go on. You've got to remember the other night that we were playing against Baka Topola, right? And and that was pretty much a dead cert home win, should have been anyway. And he still played quite a strong team, right? So he's just going to carry on doing what he always does and just play these players into the ground.
No, I know. Very annoying. Right, so what score are you giving him anyway? I wasn't listening.
Oh, Bowen, 6.
Yeah, it was no more than that, I don't think. Right, I'll take Kudus. Completely ineffective.
I don't think he was as bad as people were saying. I think when he came on,
I'm not donking him up. He's a new player, and he was brought on as a striker.
He tried hard for 5 minutes.
He's not a striker. He didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't affect the game in any way. He gets a 5.
No.
It was a bit average. Pablo Fornals, Gary.
Bloody awful. He was bloody awful. I mean, we had one chance to break. The ball got fed up to Fornals. He was 3/4 of the way up the pitch. He literally stopped on the ball, turned around and let Liverpool regain their shape when it needed a quick pass. I don't know what's happened to him. He's been moised. 5.
Yeah. And it's a shame.
Can't give a sub a donkey. Yeah, it's like someone's drained the life out of him, poor sod. But you got to say it as you see it, right?
Danny Ings, bit of a non-applicable, wasn't it?
Yeah, really. He sort of came on and the game finished, didn't he?
Yeah, non-applicable. Right, the ref, absolute wanker today, because Bowen should have had a penalty.
Yeah. Complete stonewall penalty. In the commentary that I was watching, there was a woman on there. And honestly, right, just lately, I don't mind women commentators. This is not a misogynist thing, right? But, you know, when someone's bad, you've got to call it out, whether a bloke or a woman. The woman that was commentating on my channel, she was fucking hopeless, right?
Yeah.
And neither her nor the co-commentator, or she was a co-commentator, the main commentator, when they showed the replay that was a fucking trip and he didn't get the ball, they didn't even mention it.
No, well, they won't.
And what's VAR doing, Nick? What's VAR doing?
Fuck all. It does nothing.
We got a goal 2 minutes later.
VAR's there as an added layer of protection for the top teams to make sure they get the fucking win. But you don't need VAR when you're playing a David Moyes team.
I mean, no, fucking hell, they had a long look at their offside goal, didn't they? They didn't want to rule that one out, did they?
I'm giving him a 1.
Yeah, exactly. Peter Wanks gets a 1 and a donkey.
Yeah. Right, David Moyes, Gary, over to you.
Well, look, underwhelming, terrible selection. I'm going to give him. He's going to get a donkey every time he plays this team with Souček in the side, and that's nothing against Souček. It is just a negative formation. This is one bit of negativity too far. You don't need to do this. This is extreme negative plus plus plus. Stop it. Substitutions were awful. Second half tactics were terrible. Right, when someone's not playing well, take them off. For fuck's sake, take him off. Do something about it.
That's so easy.
Just left it. He sets his watch. You can set your watch by his substitutions. 7 minutes waiting on the byline. No, I'm sorry. This was maximum frustration for David Moyes to me today. 1.
Yeah. Oh, 1. Yeah. No, fair enough. Good. Rather you than me.
Listen, I don't usually get wound up by a game of football, but everything I watched today wound me up. Right?
I know. And the thing is, it isn't. And the thing is, right? What a lot of people will say when they look at this, they'll go, "Oh, we're playing Liverpool. You expected us to beat Liverpool? It ain't got nothing to do with that. It's the way we approach the game. I don't expect us to
lose against anybody. I don't expect us to lose against anybody, right?
But it's the way that we approach the game. Yeah. It was shit. Yeah. It was defeatist, wasn't it?
Absolutely, it was. We gave up before we even started. I mean, the first 15 minutes, fantastic, right? Fantastic. Got on the front foot. I thought, this is more like it. We concede a goal. Our arse completely falls out and we just drop back into our shells and start defending. Damage limitation.
I will say, this is happening too often though, Gary. Paqueta is too good for this. Not for West Ham, but he's too good to be playing this shit. You know, we've got better players in this.
Yeah, it's insulting. It's insulting.
I mean... We have got fucking good players. Like I said to you, on there, all you've got to do on here, look, just very quickly. Right, let's move all that off anyway. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of all these. All right. It's very simple.
So yeah, look, I'm not gonna go off the deep end like you and everything else. I'm gonna just judge it how I see it, and that's how I saw it today, right? That's how I saw it today. I just saw. I like I said, I've accepted this season already. It's going to be mediocre. It's going to be shit. We're going to end up 13th or 14th. There's going to be no real big surprises. You know, we only beat the crap, to stay up last year, really, didn't we? All the rubbish teams we beat at home. And that's what kept us up. That's what we'll do this year. But we've had a few bonus wins at the start. So that's why I don't expect us to struggle.
No. But this for me, this is how we should be. This is how we should be playing. Right? So you play... with Alvarez as at CDM.
Yeah.
Alvarez is at CDM. You play Ward-Prowse and Paqueta as your box-to-boxes. Do what you want over up here, with Bowen and Kudus. Because I'm not being funny. We've got Cornet, we've got Benny. All of those players are good players. The only other change I'd make would be him out and either Kera or Mavropanos or someone else like that in. I would not take Aguero out because what I would do is I would play in a way that would push us higher. Yeah, I know you would, but I would play in a way that pushed that back line higher where he can show his value because that is where he does show his value.
Fair enough.
So that's what I would. That's what I would do. He ain't a shit defender.
He ain't. No one's saying that. Yeah. He was shit today though.
He was shit today, but that's what I would do. Soufal out, Souček out. Bring Kera. I don't know. Even fucking Johnson. Just give someone else a go at right back for fuck's sake.
Johnson ain't getting another game for the club, is he?
No, I know. But it's just frustrating. Or one of the because I read that we were giving Dan Chester's some. Apparently, he was getting some coaching and played a few games at right back as well. Dan Chester. So that's something else. But
believe it when I see it, Nick. They've got no Premier League experience. How are they going to get a Premier League game?
No.
You know, he don't put a kid in, does he? He don't put a kid in unless he might get a game against Lincoln, I suppose, in the week. He'll get a game against Lincoln.
Yeah, maybe. Right, okay. We could have been 2 up inside 15 minutes. They were there for the taking, and we rolled over. This is what I'm saying to you earlier on.
Yeah. We did, Keith. Yeah.
We proved that, and that proves you've got the ability in the team, right? You have.
Yep.
If you're able to. It's just fucking... And our bench, if you looked at our bench and their bench today, our bench looked fucking brilliant. We had good players on the bench.
Yeah. You know what Moyes will... I was listening to his post-match interview. He said, the first half I thought we did really well. All right, I'll give you that. We did all right. The second half, he said, I thought we did really well, but, you got to question the goal and this. It's like, no, Moyes, they could have scored more. We were just so defensive and horrible in that second half. Don't try and dress it up. I think what Moyes will take from that game, if I'm not wrong, is that the first 15, 20 minutes of attacking play didn't work, and next week we should just go out and defend.
He'll hang on to the missed chances. That's what he'll do.
Yeah.
He'll hang on to the missed chances. My plan would have worked if we'd have converted those 2 goals.
Well, we did win a European trophy after all, Nick. It's the first time in 43 years, right?
Oh no, he ain't mentioned that for a week or so.
No, he hasn't. Yeah, he pulled that one out in a couple of weeks.
Will.
But yeah, he's put a load of pressure on Sheffield United next week, which I was hoping was going to be more of a that's working. I was going to be more of a bit more laid back and everything else, but we're going to be desperate not to lose that game now. I hope we will. That's what I do. I'll win.
Yeah, you have to give us a minute, Gary, because me box of tricks has just died. So give us 2 minutes.
Oh no!
Give us.
Right, okay. All right. Yeah. So what was I talking about? Let me have a look at some comments. Oh, I can't even put them up. Can I? Bloody platform.
No, I'll just have to read them out.
I'll just have to read them out. So good strikers to bring on. We have fucking Danny Ings. We've only got fucking Danny Ings because that's all Moyes uses. He's one of the core 13, 14 players that he decides to use, right?
Ultra says Moyes
doesn't take blame for anything. Yeah, you saw the box tricks out. I'll read the comments, just slap them up. So Moyes doesn't take blame for anything. No, of course not. Of course he doesn't. No. Scott Bernard says we've spent over 300 million in 2 seasons. Base have the same old attitude. I don't know what that means. Are we simpletons? I don't know. But are you talking about people who think this is good? I think that's what you're saying, Scott. Yeah, it ain't good, is it? Because he sure knows how to waste money, doesn't he? And I'm afraid a couple of things are going to come true as far as I'm concerned. First of all, Nick's prediction about this is going to go how we expect it to go. It ain't going to be good. We can't just defend against these people. Yeah, that's working. Right, yeah. So you keep calling me. I've just lost my thread again. Fucking hell. Right.
Sorry.
So yeah. So there are 2 predictions. I made one. I said one prediction, and I can't remember what one was now because you called me in between. It was really meaningful.
It weren't
meaningful, intelligent. It really was. It really was.
Is there still echo? I don't know why there would be echo.
I don't know. I can't hear echo.
It's
sorted. They say
sorted.
They say sound bounce.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah. All right. Brilliant.
I've got.
Sorry, we're on a backup. We're on a backup platform tonight. As you know, if you missed the start, we're StreamYard fucked up, so we couldn't use our normal one. So Nick, for an hour before this show, got it working.
Hello.
Is that Alfie?
It is indeed. Good evening. I hope you're both very well.
I'm very well, mate.
Hello, Alfie. Well. You're right.
What would you like to talk about, mate?
I'd like to discuss today's game, and particularly the man in question, David Moyes. Obviously, I have a differing opinion in regards to Moyes to you, but I will admit I thought the game plan was too negative today, particularly with the balls to Antonio. And Antonio is someone I wanted to defend right now, actually. I've seen a lot of hate for Antonio. Oh, maybe not hate, but a lot of criticism for Antonio.
I think you've got to give criticism where it's due. I mean, as you know, I'm a big Antonio supporter.
It's not hate. Yeah, it's not hate. Not from our point of view. You just got to say how it is. And today it weren't good, was it?
No.
Well, no, not from you two. It's not been hate for Antonio, but I've seen people on Twitter in particular who I think have gone a bit overboard on how bad Antonio actually is. The missed chance, yes, he should score, but every striker in the Premier League misses chances. Haaland's missed so many lately. Yep. Ollie Watkins is a striker I really like. Yep. He's missed so many this season. And I've got to be fair to Antonio, there's not a lot he could have done today. The balls were going up to him, and for the most part, there was no one near him. And he had 2 physical players near him, if not 3, Van Dijk, Matip and Joe Gomez. That is 3 very physical players. We've seen a lot of the top teams in the Premier League, like Man City, do this now. So he needed more support, and I will say I do think Moyes got that wrong today. I would have bought.
This is what I'm going to get to. So what? If that's what you're saying, then the fact of the matter is the game plan. Why did it alter throughout the game as well? Because if you looked at what brought about the regression, so the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we were playing higher up the pitch for a start. It wasn't such a high line. It wasn't such a deep line. We were pressing in the middle, so we had kind of a mid press going on. We were getting in their faces and we were creating chances. What the fuck happened in that second half?
Yeah, the second half was terrible. The first half was
that's tactical, Alfie. They're coming out. We look different in the second half.
I do think it was tactical, yes, but I would add that the players didn't do a great job of helping him. The one thing that you need when you're playing counter-attacking football in that manner is the first pass into the striker to be good. And in the second half, we didn't do that. Yes, as I just said, Antonio didn't have enough support. But in the first half, look, of course, if we scored the two chances or one of the chances at the start of the game, it could have been a bit different.
Yeah,
but we can't use that.
But we've said that. We've said that.
Yeah. So I do think he got it wrong today, but I will disagree with some of what I've heard in regards to him coming 13th or 14th. I actually think even though people don't like the football, don't like the way we play, we rely on a lot of set pieces, of course. But I do think we're going to have a good season in terms of league standing this year. I think against the lower teams, we're going to get quite a lot of results. I think we'll comfortably beat Sheffield United, who've conceded the most crosses in the league.
Why didn't we comfortably beat Luton?
Because their first game at their home ground, it was a tough away day at the time.
Why didn't we comfortably beat Bournemouth?
First game of the season, Bournemouth on a bad side. Tough.
A tough away day. Because it was City. Why didn't we beat Liverpool? Because it was Liverpool. Why did we beat Chelsea?
But the thing is, right? I think at the moment, it's all hearsay. What you're saying could prove to be true. We could go on. We could have a good season.
Yes.
I'm not saying what is going to happen. I'm not saying that this season that we're going to come flying off the rails and it's going to be shit. I'm not saying that. But I think that I've seen enough, and that's why I've been calling out the style, Alfie, and that's exactly why, because I saw enough from those first games, even in the wins, when you are sitting back and you are conceding so many chances, and you're relying on shit finishing and great goalkeeping to keep you in games. Our goalkeeper got man of the match 3 games out of 6 games this season. When you're setting up in that way, and we ain't defensively amazing, we're fucking conceding against everyone, including TSC. When you're doing
every game,
and you haven't got much of an attacking output, which we haven't at the moment, then and that's why I've been calling out the style, because the style does dictate what's going to happen over the course of a season. Yeah, it might not over the first few games. You might sort of like against Brighton, whenever we got a chance, bang goal. But we're not clinical typically. We haven't got world class forwards. We just haven't. Antonio isn't going to score the first chance that he gets. He was brilliant for a few games at the start of the season, but he's kind of that sharpness seems to have worn off now. And also the fact that we've only got Antonio, the Moyes system, I'm sure you will agree that this Moyes system will only work with Mikel Antonio in that system. How can we only have Mikel Antonio and no backup? I know you're not a fan of Danny Ings. Why the fuck does Danny Ings keep on getting used to replacing Alfie?
Yeah, that I agree with. I think from what pre-season, Divine Mabama would be.
But he's not going to, Alfie. So why won't he?
He's not going to. No. I don't know why he's not going to, and I have to criticise him for that, which I have, because I think Danny Ings is one of the worst strikers I've seen at West Ham. Yes, I know he was good in the past and he suits a 2-man strike partnership, whatever, but I think he's finished. The thing is, we haven't seen... Alfie,
sorry, mate. I've got a question for you as well, right? Why is he prioritising, and he is prioritising, Souček over Paqueta? Because he insists Souček plays in the middle and then Paqueta gets bumped out left. Why is he doing that?
Genuinely, the position that Paqueta played when he was playing left centre mid, for example, the Luton game, it genuinely isn't, in terms of the zones he's occupying, very different to what he did today.
No, but do you think he's following instructions, mate? Because I don't think he is. I mean, the geezer's doing tricks and rolls on the edge of our own 18-yard box. He's showcasing his talent in every single game, isn't he? That's what he's doing.
He's following the defensive instruction. He's helping out Emerson a lot. I do think he is following the instruction. I just think Moyes actually gives him. I don't think personally that Moyes stops him doing what he wants on the ball, and I think Moyes trusts Paqueta.
Yeah.
I think last season, and I don't regret what I said about Paqueta in the first half of last season. I thought it was crap, but now he's adjusted to the Premier League. In the sort of situations he's getting out with now, with the flicks that he's doing and the turns that we don't even see coming.
Yeah.
Last season he was getting caught on the ball a lot. So Moyes now is giving him the platform to do them tricks, do them skills. And yes, okay, he's not getting up the pitch enough to score the goals or get the assists that we want. But we've also not seen us at home against a team that you'd fancy us beating. We've seen in Sheffield how we do. And in terms of results, 7th in the league at this stage is a very good point to be at.
Yeah, listen, no one's, but it's a downward trend now. We was at the top, we was second, we're fourth, and if you have a look at, we were joint top. Now we're 8 points off top. Now we're 2 points off 11th. And the fact is, what I'm saying is, and I'm not saying it's doom and gloom. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that we won't go on to have a good season. But how can you so sort of hand on heart be so certain that when a team that sets up in the way that we do, where we invite pressure onto ourselves with defenders that are prone to making mistakes, where we're relying on a goalkeeper to pull out a masterclass in a lot of games to keep us in them, having forward players that are not getting supply, having forward players that are not clinical, what makes you believe that over the course of a season, if we're inviting more chances onto us than we're getting down the other end, that's going to balance out and we're going to win more games and we're going to lose? What makes you believe that, honestly? Because it doesn't make sense to me, mate.
Man City and Liverpool, I predicted us to lose. I predicted us to beat Brighton and Chelsea, which you can see.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that the game plan that we instigated, or the game plan that we put in place for Man City and Chelsea, they just have too much quality for us to execute that game plan well. We could rely on it a little bit against Brighton and Chelsea, because Chelsea failed to break down a 10-man low block in the last half an hour. Brighton, I think we missed the pen. They missed the pen, and the game would have changed drastically. But the Brighton game, of course, Areola made great saves at the end, but we thoroughly deserved to win that. Pascal Gross's goal.
I'll agree with you on that. I'll agree with you on that. But going back to the point I made, right, I agree. I sort of agree with you in a way that he does occupy the similar sort of zones out on the left as he did against Luton. But with Luton, if you remember, he was just hunting for space. He was hunting for space, and eventually he found it on the left-hand side of their defence. Well, my point is, if Paqueta takes priority, he gets the central berth, because in the middle, he can affect the game far more, because he can go left, he can go right, he can surprise people. That's what he does. You isolate him out on the left, then he's far easier to keep him under control.
He shouldn't. Our best footballer should be placed in the middle of the fucking park, where he can fully affect the game, and that is how it should be. Yeah. And
on paper, yes.
But he should. Alfie, come on. What is this obsession with Souček? Now, look, we will all agree Souček's looking slightly better this year than he did last year. But last year, when we had Souček putting in regular 5 out of 10 performances,
I don't get it.
And he's in the fucking team every game. When you've got 4 now as a player who I know you like, not getting a sniff. He's literally sitting there watching this guy put in shit performances. Why will David Moyes not drop players that are playing poorly?
I don't understand anybody. I literally can't agree with anybody that thinks that Souček should be in that team, because that turns it into a negative team. Too negative. We're negative already. That's too negative.
Yeah.
Obviously, on the subject of Souček, I didn't actually want him to start today. I actually wanted Paqueta more central and Benrahma out wide. But for me, what the plan would be in the future, and we will see if this happens, would be for Paqueta to occupy the zones he's already in, because I think his link up with Emerson is crucial, and I think him not being there is detrimental to us. I would play Kudus off Antonio, sort of in the Tim Cahill role that he used to play for Everton. That would be the way that I would play.
That would work. That would work, Alfie, because then you've got Antonio doing all the fetching and carrying, and then you've got Kudus feeding off of him. But it just feels like I can't work out. I mean, his in-game management at the moment hasn't been great. It really hasn't, and it's starting to. I think the cracks are starting to appear. Do I think we're going to beat Sheffield United on the weekend? Yeah, I do. I think we'll beat them. I mean, it'd be hard not to if you look at fucking how they got absolutely
8-0
today. 8-0.
Yeah.
So it will be hard. You haven't got to be a genius to predict we're going to beat Sheffield United. But then you're looking at Aston Villa. Then you're looking at Newcastle. They're very different games. I'm not saying we can't win those either. But what I'm saying is, Alfie, you can't dismiss. Bearing in mind, after us getting, I don't know, all those points from the first few games, people are coming out calling for Moyes to get a new 4-year contract. Now that's fucking crazy. Let me ask you something now, Alfie, because I know you was in favour of that. Let me give you a scenario. We lose against Sheffield United. We lose against Villa. We lose against Newcastle. We drop down to about 13th, 14th place. It gets to about Christmas time. Would you give him a 4-year contract then?
No.
So this is what I'm saying to you. So why were you in favour of giving him a 4-year contract after 4 games when it doesn't make any sense? Because we don't have to. We can wait and see how David Moyes' season and West Ham season pans out. If it goes well, then you can review it. But why were so many people getting so excited after 4 games, saying you've got to get him battened down? Because those games weren't convincing. They weren't. Even Luton, we could have drawn that game. Bournemouth, we went 1-0 up. We threw away 2 points, and then we struggled to hang on to 1. And then you've, like I say, you look at the Luton game. Luton were just as fucking dangerous as us in that game, to be quite honest. And they could have got a goal back at the end.
Should have had a penalty at the end,
Yes. So what I'm saying is there hasn't really been any convincing games. Brighton was a brilliant win. But if Brighton had have won that game, we couldn't have complained because they created just as many chances as us. And our fucking goalkeeper got man of the match.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to agree with Alfie on the Brighton game because I think we also created a couple of additional chances as well.
Yeah, but
right?
and we
deserve
that.
That's the performance of the season, right? That's the performance of the season, Brighton, without doubt.
Yes, but Gary, if you look at there were 2 saves or 3 saves that Areola made in that match that will be in the top 10 fucking saves of the season.
Yeah, but the thing is,
absolutely,
in regards to the Brighton game, I think that one. It was late in the game that he made them saves. You've got to remember Bowen also missed a 1-on-1 in the last minute of the game if we're going to go off
But then if you go back to the Brighton game, Danny Ings comes on. And thank fuck he did in that one because Danny Ings cleared a header off the fucking line. When we had, I think Antonio had come off, Ings had come on. If Danny Ings ain't there, it's 3-2 and there's about 5 minutes left and we're under trouble. It weren't plain sailing. All I'm trying to say is, Alfie, not in one game this season have we won a game convincingly. We haven't. Not convincingly.
But I'll say 2 things.
Go on.
We haven't won convincingly, but at this point, 6 games into the season, I saw a lot of people before the season started probably being over.
Oh, yeah, me as well.
Alfie, you would never have predicted that we would have got all those points. You would never have predicted that we got all the points that we did. No one, even Nigel Khan, who's ever the optimist. Nigel Khan is, he's very optimistic.
He went for about 6.
No one would have predicted that, and it was a great start in terms of points haul. But the fact of the matter is, the playing style is relevant because that does dictate. If you look at the trend over the course of a season, if you're inviting more chances onto your goal than you're creating down the other end, then it won't work out well for you.
Can I just say one thing before we say, Alfie, before we say bye, because I think we need to get another caller on in a minute. But it's been a great call. But let me just say one thing. If you're going to offer David Moyes a 4-year contract, that would be on the basis that someone else wants to hire him because you want to protect him and make sure no one else signs him. There's literally not another team in the Premier League who would have him, apart from maybe a relegation candidate later in the season. No one wants him, but some of our fans. He's done well. He's done brilliant. Whatever. But no one wants his football at their club.
But the thing is that in regards to the 4-year contract, a lot of that was tongue in cheek. But what you've got to remember,
it weren't, Alfie.
A lot of our fans. I done a poll at the time as to who would offer Moyes new contracts, and it came out 86%. Now, I know you'll say a lot of fans on Twitter are different to on here, but last season it would have been, even before we beat Brighton, it would have probably been 30%. So fans are very fickle. They'll change their mind like the weather.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, but they're not. No. I think that's unfair. I think the majority of fans. I don't think it's fickle. The majority of because what you've got is you've got extremes in either direction. I think with football, and you could call me a Moyes extremist, a Moyes out extremist. I think you're a Moyes in extremist. But I think the majority of people sit in the middle and they just watch the game, and all they want is their team to do well, and they're the ones that sit in, and they're the ones that you can say people criticise them, and I've done it as well. A flip. They don't really care one way or the other who's managing the team, as long as the team's doing well. Most people sit
it's
there,
current temperature. With polls, it's current temperature.
There.
So if we've just had a win and we're sitting in the top 6, and you ask, should we get rid of Moyes? Everyone's going to say no, right? Most people anyway. If we've lost 5 on the trot, and you ask the same question, he'll get 20% support, right? That's the way it works with polls.
It's the way it works, and that's because most people don't really care too much about the manager. They just care about what's happening on the pitch. That's basically it.
Exactly.
But anyway, Alfie, that's a great call, mate. I've got to call another Alfie
Thanks,
now.
Alfie.
Who tried to call me.
All right. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
See you later.
Right. There you go. They can't ever say that I don't accept calls from them, can they? Right.
No. There's no point. No harm in having a conversation, is there? But
no. Right.
Your glasses are so wonky tonight. I think they're bent. I think I need to straighten.
Hello. This is the other Alfie. How are you, mate? You all right?
Hello, Alfie.
No, I'm not. I'm really not, actually.
Are you even more angry? Are you even more angry after that call?
Fuck this manager. I don't get how anyone can try and support or even say a good word against this manager. He's useless, right? You could put anyone on the side of that pitch and fucking manage West Ham right now because we are diabolical. He doesn't have a fucking Scooby-Doo. Where he comes from, he don't know anything. He's brain dead. He's done. Listen, yeah? A lot of people didn't expect us to go to Liverpool, but at the end of the day, when you go into games like these as a West Ham fan, you go there for passion. You want to see your players give everything for the fucking team. You want to walk out there, even if you lose, proud that you put a performance in and you've really tried. Did we do that? No. We are football terrorists.
I think we are. Yeah.
Listen, I've kind of where you are now. Where you are now, that's kind of where I've been at for an awful long time. I've had to kind of rein it back in because you're just going to drive yourself mad. I think the fact is he ain't going anywhere yet. He's not going to. The only way that's going to happen is if we have a real bad fucking run of results. I don't think that we will get a real bad run of results because I think that we've got so much quality in that team that, as Gary said earlier on, we will just get enough points irrespective of Moyes' fucking game plan. We've got enough players that will get us out of trouble. We'll beat. I'm not being funny. Stevie Wonder could manage our squad against Sheffield United. We'd probably win. I think we would. I'm not saying they're a bad team, by the way, but it's kind of we will beat them, or at least we should. At least we should beat them. But it's frustrating, mate. I get what you're saying because this is what I'm saying to you. We came out of the blocks in that game, and we would have all been encouraged. You would have been encouraged. We thought, fuck me. First 10 minutes, I couldn't really believe what was happening. We was pushing them back. We had 2 chances. We could have scored, and then yet we kind of got sucker punched a little bit with a penalty. But then we picked up again, and the first half was largely fine. We was in it. It was quite an even thing. But then for him to tweak it tactically, as Alfie alluded to before, he had to admit, it was tweaked defensively, tactically. Against Liverpool, why would you do it? What was working well in the first half? Why would you fucking change that? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, he tried to win the point, didn't he? He tried to protect the point, just like he did against Bournemouth, just like he did, against Chelsea. Remember when we went 1-0 when we went 1-0 against Chelsea? In fact, we went 1-0 up. We dropped deep against Chelsea, if you remember.
No, Gary, 1-0. We scored 7 minutes in and we were done. Yeah. Right? In Moyes' head, when we played Chelsea, that 1-0 was fucking everything to him.
Yeah, no. Look,
that was the week after the Bournemouth game, wasn't it? You've only got the same thing.
You've only got Bournemouth was the first game. You've only got to look at the Bournemouth game for proof of that. We were 1-0 up against Bournemouth and then tried to shut up shop.
Defending.
That was fucking for about 60 minutes.
Yeah, and then 1-0 did the same thing. Absolutely protect the point.
Yeah, I know.
But what's making me laugh is, and I know people say stats merchants and stuff like this, right? If you're going to set up shop Do it fucking professionally. Yeah. If you look at all of our stats, every game we've shut up shop, we have failed.
Yeah.
Right. Our goalkeeper has saved us from individual brilliance yet again. Right. This season, you can say Brighton was a good game. I'd be a hypocrite to say I didn't enjoy winning at Brighton. I didn't enjoy the performance. I enjoyed winning against them.
I didn't enjoy the
Oh,
performance.
I loved it being there.
I didn't enjoy the performance. Yeah, but that's different when you're there, isn't it? It's different when you're there.
Yeah,
it's different when you're there. I mean, that must have been a great day out.
Yeah, it was.
So you say we're looking at Spurs fans, right? I'm not being funny, right? They haven't got everything, Spurs. They spent a little bit of money in the summer. They got a manager who's never managed in the Premier League before. There was a little bit of conversation about him. Would he do well? But the idea is he wants to be forward thinking and he wants to put it on teams. He went to the Emirates today and probably should have won, right? I'm not asking for the world. I'm asking for a manager who really wants to take the club into a right direction, who wants to play fast forward football. We've got the players to do it.
Alfie.
I don't.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
Someone just said we need a third Alfie for the decider, for the deciding call.
Yeah.
Another thing, right? This is what makes me laugh with Paquetá, right? By the way, he's gone. He's gone. By January, we'd be like,
yeah. He's out of it.
He's already going, right? But at the end of the day, right, when he's your best player on the ball, right, you say to him, if you can't get on the ball in midfield, which he can, right, go and find the space. Because at the end of the day, right, if you want your best player on the ball, you let them have the license to go and do what they need to do for the benefit of the team. But Moyes, no, he wants to save the fucking point. So you stay where I say you to go. But it's got to a point now where Paquetá's kind of going, well, I'm doing what you're asking defensively, but when I get on the ball, I'm doing what I want because I back myself.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, he ain't doing what Moyes tells him. No chance. He's far too big a character.
And the thing is, one thing again, alluding to the previous Alfie, he said the same. He said the same thing. You know, Antonio did have a poor game, and he did. But do you know something? Unless Antonio is, because sometimes I feel like we don't need a striker, we need a fucking magician. Because the striker, when we say Antonio needs to be in beast mode, and this is why so many strikers have come in to play in this system, and they've looked shit compared to Antonio in this system. Haller, Scamacca, Danny Ings, he ain't shit. Because our striker needs to be more than a striker. They need to be a battering ram. They need to take on 2 or 3 defenders on their own, turn shit balls into good ones, chase lost causes, create their own chances. Yeah. It's a ridiculous task. So he is frustrating, Antonio. He is, and today he didn't perform well. He didn't perform well at all. But that could be the reason why they haven't gone out and got another striker, because I think they're going to struggle to find anyone that can do that job, because it's a bit of a fucking it's a shit job. What strike? I mean, if you are a top striker and you look at a job that you're being offered, what's my job? What's going to be my role in the team? And they say, well, you're going to have to go and be Antonio. You look at that and go, no, fuck that. You know, I want to be Haaland. I want chances laid in the plate for me. I'm getting goal bonuses. I need you to provide me with chances.
No, he wants the battering ram up front, and he wants players like Paquetá in the middle to just do a bit of individual magic and unpick the lock. Right? That's it. That's the extent of his attacking now, apart from set pieces, obviously.
Yeah.
That's it. Individual magic, set pieces, and a big boy up front.
Yeah, absolutely. But the frustrating thing is, right, and this is the thing, and this is also why style is important as well. Because you know something, as we said before, and this is why sometimes it is better to have a footballing philosophy, play a certain way, because do you know something? You don't feel as shitty after a defeat when you do play a certain style. You don't. But when you play this way, when you're that submissive and you lose, it's fucking shit. It's rubbish.
Nick, if we're going to play like this, why get our hopes up and bring people like Kudus and Mavropanos and people like that in if they're never going to get a game? You're not going to use them because they've got no Premier League. Why not just go and buy fucking League One players, right?
Just go and get Hugill back.
He didn't need to spend all this money for these players. He's not going to use them, let alone get the best out of them. And I'll tell you, I thought of the second thing, that prediction that we made earlier in the season. It weren't really a prediction, it was an opinion. But first of all, Nick, you said this would turn to shit. Yeah. I still believe it will as well. I agree with that. But the second one was, Moyes and Stein are not best buddies, right? Dress it up how you like. Dress it up how you like. He ain't playing his players. And it's been well publicised now that Stuyton promised Kudos some playing time.
With Paqueta in the same team.
Yes.
That was from the Athletic.
So
that was from the Athletic.
Moyes, yeah, exactly. So it's probably true. So Moyes is making sure that does not happen.
I know. Mavropanos is basically, look, listen, he's more suitable for David Moyes' system than the player that David Moyes chased for fucking a year in Aguirre.
Yeah, but he ain't his player, though. He ain't his player. He will not play him. He's not his player. He considers Alvarez his player because he chased him previously, right?
Yeah.
Maguire was his player. That's who he wanted.
Oh, could you imagine if we'd have got him? Imagine if we'd have got him.
It'd been starting. I just look forward, Alfie. I just look forward to this week Lincoln City watching Mavropanos playing up front, or in the number 10.
Oh, man.
I know.
No, but genuinely, right? I love Aguirre, right? But
I do.
You cannot
sorry
carry liabilities in the team. You cannot carry liabilities, right? And I'm not being funny, right? It must be so underwhelming for a player to sit on the bench and go, how many mistakes does it make for him to do and me still not get my chance? What have I come here for?
100%. But that goes back to what we were saying about Souček last season. You imagine being Fornals or Lanzini sitting on the bench watching Souček put those performances in. You would have been sitting there thinking, I must be really shit.
You're just deceiving, wouldn't you?
I must be. If I can't get on in front of him, I've got to be shit. It's because and he was constantly and ever present in that team. He never ever, he never got taken. And do you know something? It ain't even about dropping players. Sometimes it's about protecting them. I think if players on a bad run of form and fans will turn on them because they will, because that's our team. You get frustrated when take him out of the firing line. Give him a fucking break. He probably needed a break as well, Souček, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He really did.
Depending on how deep we go in the cups and in the Europa League, right, we could be looking at another 50, 55 games a season, right, this season. I don't think Moyes understands if you don't rotate these players, you're going to get big injuries, and then that's when you're going to become unstuck, right? Obviously he wouldn't understand this because we're just going off what we see from other actual intelligent managers can do. You need to be rotating your players. Why spend £50 million on Kudos, right? Okay, maybe your plans is to replace him for Paquetá, but you can definitely find a way to fit him into the team. At the end of the day, you can't just sit him on the bench and when Paquetá goes going, here's your chance, bud. This is the perfect time, right, to let him get minutes, let him slowly be interjected into the team, and then by the time that Bowen might have to, be ill or something like this, or Paquetá's gone, it would already be bread and water to him to be able to fit into the team. But no, we don't. We ain't intelligent.
No, it's incredibly frustrating. Right. I mean, if you look, listen, I'm not being funny. If you have a look at the player Doku, who tore Soufal a new one, right? I'm not being funny. Pep's pulled him in, and this is Pep Guardiola, right? And don't get me wrong. Everyone's going on like Doku is like the next coming. He's not. He's just a fast fucking winger. He's a very, very good player, but he's just a rapid winger. But you know what?
Yeah.
Pep's put him straight in.
Yeah.
Straight into the team. And that's Pep.
It's his system. That's what he wants, though. He wants his system to work. And it's another thing, right? So I'm not sure which one of you just said it, but someone said about going to get League One players, right? This is another example.
Yeah, me. Yeah.
Right? You see Brighton, right? You could take their most important player out of their team, right? Replace them with an unproven nobody, and they still play well in that system because they're coached in that system. I'd generally love to be invited down to the training ground and see how we train. Right, it'd literally be defense versus defense and see who wants to attack first.
Traffic cones. I'll tell you the other thing. The flip side of it, which is what we're seeing an awful lot with a lot of Brighton players going to other teams. But I'll tell you that it would definitely work in West Ham's case. If we went out and spent 50 million on their young striker and put him in our team, he'd look shit. He'd look shit.
No, it's true. It's true. Yeah,
he'd look shit.
He hasn't got a clue. He's got no imagination. He believes football gets played his way, and that is the most effective way. It's a soulless brand of football, a cowardly brand of football. It's just waving the white flag and going, there you go, have the ball, run at us, go on, run at us. And we ain't got the spirit or the quality to be able to. I hope we had a few weeks ago. I was saying maybe with Alvarez sitting in the front, maybe we can do this and actually grind games out because all the defense is playing well and everything else. And then just mistake after mistake after mistake. If you play this system, you cannot make mistakes, let alone 2 or 3 a game that cost goals.
Yeah, it's a good point from Keith Knight here. With Aguero, he could be affected by the tragedy in Morocco. And he's right. He said that is the case. Yeah, but what he's saying is fair enough. Rest him then. It's bad management if he is affected and he's still being thrown out there. It's, you know, take. It goes back to what we were saying before. Take him out the firing line. Protect them. They're your players. It ain't like he ain't got any other options. We've got fucking Mavropanos. You've got Kehrer as well. And Ogbonna.
I'm looking back at who used to play games up front for Everton Moyes early days. Started off with you know, what's his name, who they got from Arsenal? James Beattie was I mean, he's basically a bruiser, right? Duncan Ferguson played 33 games, scored 1 goal, right? Again, it doesn't matter about Moyes. It never mattered back then that the striker would score goals. It just mattered that he'd bash up the defence. That's what it looks like. Duncan Ferguson used to do the Antonio role, right? And Beattie, the big barrel-chested Beattie, that's what he used to do as well. Kevin Campbell's the other one who scored hardly any goals but played the same role. This is just textbook Moyes, right? This is textbook Moyes. I'm only halfway through his seasons at the moment, and I've found nobody. You know, he had Rooney at the start. He soon got shot of him, did he? Well, Rooney left.
Well, you know. You've heard Rooney's take on Moyes, haven't you? You know, he fucking it was that was, if anyone ain't seen that, it's on the, what was the Everton? It's a really good one to watch. The Everton channel. I can't remember now, but that's a brilliant podcast, and it's opens your eyes a little bit to how much David Moyes does try to stand in the way of young players.
Here's another one. Victor Anichebe played 23 games, scored 4 goals, right? Another physical player with plenty of pace who just used to run around a lot, right? I think the exception, Andy Johnson, did quite well for him. 36 games, 12 goals in that season. But again, they're all looking very much, you know, the big bruiser. I mean, Antonio's not tall, but he's a bruiser, right? And that's what he likes to have up front because that is the system he plays.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Not many goals.
But this is an amazing point, right? And he isn't a player that I wanted. But if you've got David Moyes and you're playing a David Moyes system and you need a backup,
he would have been perfect.
Competition,
he would have been perfect.
Adama Traore on a free. What the fuck?
Oh my God.
Well, but what? Just go and get him because he would be brilliant he's a like for like type of player. Yeah. Bring Antonio off, throw him on, no problem.
Yeah. He had Yakubu. He brought him over. 21 in 42. Now, Yakubu was on fire when he first... But again, similar player, right? Can do it on his own up front. This is literally... I'm just trying to prove this is a template that he's always followed. And so he thinks he's right, so he's never going to change it.
Yeah. Look, I've generally got a question for you two. If you were to replace Moyes tomorrow, who would you bring in?
I mean, for me... the big one, which is the one that I wanted, was the one that's gone to Spurs. So that's the one that I wanted us to go for in the summer. Postecoglou. But for me, I think if you've got any chance of getting him at all, because he's that has got to be the what's his name?
The one from Leverkusen. Yeah,
Alonso. If you don't get him now. Next in the summer, he's going to a top job because he is literally. His teams are playing fucking amazing football at the moment. His team is.
I'll do the same thing.
He does. He also plays 4-4-2.
I know.
Right? But he does it in a way where his team defend right only when they need to defend. Yeah. Not defend from the get-go, and they play beautiful football.
Did you see them against Bayern?
They were the better team in Bayern.
They were the better team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, against us, mate. Moyes got schooled in that game. The pre-season game. It was like liquid football. We all watched that and thought, Gary, you did as well, didn't you? We watched them play and thought, we want to see that. We want to see a bit of that.
I was jealous.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. I just wonder Sullivan. Sadly, that day, not that Sullivan gives a fuck anyway, but that day we all saw the video of Sullivan looking like a corpse weekend at Burnley, sitting at the end of a table while old Jiggly's was up. His missus was up dancing. So he didn't even watch the fucking game. No. Not that he'd have understood what he was seeing anyway, but we were absolutely destroyed in that game. And it was like, earlier on in this show tonight, someone said the midfield. There was like avoiding the midfield, and they were coming down the middle. That's what happened in that game and several other preseason games as well, if you remember.
Yeah, absolutely. Right,
I know this is
Alfie. Last point, mate, because then we're going to have to give. I think Gary wants to call in as well.
no worries. Listen, I'm expecting a win next week, but I tell you what, watch us make that game uncomfortable. We will somehow make Sheffield United hard at home.
Yeah, no. Well, look,
it'll be 1-0 or 2-0. 1-0 or 2-0, right?
I'll be here to diss Moyes when he's done it.
Yeah, look. Hopefully, and I say this, I mean this as well. I hope that we do get that one over the line, because I don't think I'm not saying that's going to mean we're going to get we're not going to get relegated. There's 3 really shit teams in this league. We ain't getting relegated this year. But do you know what? That will kind of dictate the pattern for the rest of the season, because I think if
even bloody Burnley are playing better than us.
Yeah, no, but they're not winning. They're not winning. Thank God, they're not winning.
No, they're lightweight. Yeah. They're good football in lightweight side, aren't they?
Yeah. I think there's 3 teams at the bottom are going down. The 3 teams there at the moment. I think they're gone.
I think you can already count Sheffield gone. They just haven't got any heart or soul to compete in this league.
Yeah.
Luton look abysmal. But you never know, though. Teams can turn it around. No one predicted Bournemouth to stay up.
Yeah. Everton.
I don't think that. Everton. But I don't think this lot will, because I think that this is a shining example of 3 teams that work hard all year to get promoted to the Premier League, just to suffer a year of being battered week in, week out, because that's what's going to happen to them. I think they're all going to get. They're going to go down. I think all 3 of them. I can't see them getting out the bottom 3 at all. Even Everton have picked up now, so I think you've got 17 Premier League teams there, and you've got 3 Championship teams, and I think the 3 Championship teams are going down. But anyway, Alfie, thanks very much for the call, mate. Very passionate, very good.
Thanks, Alfie.
No, thanks for having me, man.
No worries, mate. No worries. You feel better now, didn't you?
See you later, guys. Yeah.
See you later.
Until next week.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, mate. Right. Let's give Gowie a call. What have I called him? Gary Wampford, isn't it?
I don't know. Yeah, it usually is. Everton will be fine. I don't know about that, Damien. How'd they get on today? Because they've just been taken over, haven't they, by a company called 777, a US company that tends to run sports teams into the ground.
Hello, Gary.
Gary.
How you doing?
Gary.
Very well, mate. Yourself?
All right.
Not bad, Nick. Hello, Gal. All right.
Hello, Gary. You're right.
Good show tonight, lads. Very interesting.
Thank you very much.
Obviously, couple of points. I don't remember last week my phone call when I said about again. I said he's got to be left out. He's just costing us too many goals. You know, it's been going on for a while. It says you count them up even back to last season.
Somebody listed them earlier on in the chat. There's a lot there. There's a lot.
Yeah. Well, the Man United game in the cup, we lost 3-1. I think he was down. All 3 of them were down to him.
Can I just say something quickly, Gary? Gary, can I just say something? I didn't realise. I'm so ignorant. I'm so West Ham focused. I didn't even realise Everton won away against Brentford yesterday. So it's looking a bit more positive for him now. So I rescind what I said earlier.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, no. So I heard somebody say on another channel, if you drop him, he's going to knock his confidence. We're not doing his confidence any good. Playing him every week and making mistakes like this. And I think it's going to start unsettling the other defenders as well, you know, because they're going to put them on edge.
Yeah.
You know, so it's got to, isn't it? But and the other point which Nick said about earlier is, despite our brilliant transfer window, one thing we didn't do was the striker situation. I mean, we've said it so many times. Antonio's the only one that can play. The Mings is a waste of time. He's not going to play at Barmer. Why did we not get another? I can't believe we've not another striker in Europe that can play the similar role to Antonio, because we need that. If he gets injured now, what do we do? You know, and the other problem we got is what you said earlier about Paqueta. Now, it's going to be a little bit controversial, this. But before I say that, I just want to say, I heard someone say earlier about playing Kudus alongside it, or just behind Antonio to give him support, which is good. you've got Bowen on the right, then you've got a problem. It's left-hand side a problem again, because then if you want to play Paqueta, you've got Paqueta, you've got, who's the one? Ward-Prowse.
Yes.
That's two, and you've got, who have I left out? The other lad, who's the old midfield player, the holding player? Alvarez.
Alvarez. Yeah. Sorry, mate.
If you've got those three in the middle, you've got Bowen on the right, Antonio with Kudus behind him, who's going to play on the left? So we've still got this. I mean, Ben Rama will be the one, but then you've got to leave someone else out. So it's tricky. But what I was going to say, there was a show the other night, I think there's Irish Tommy was talking with Luke, he's been on your show.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Paqueta. Now, I know everyone's a Paqueta fanboy at the moment, he's a flavour of the month, but it's going to be slightly controversial, this. But they were comparing who's a better player, Payet in 2016 or Paqueta. I think Payet was a better player.
Payet every day of the week.
Because Paqueta has loads of little tricks and flicks, but he doesn't hurt teams enough for me.
Gary, can I interject? Okay, you've got to factor in the manager. Now, I'm going to give you this team, and I'm going to give you Dimitri Payet and Paqueta in a David Moyes team. Which player would be better? This is a player. Bear in mind, Payet's a player who never. I'd say for a start, he'd never play because he don't track. He never tracked back.
No.
Payet never tracked back. So what I'm saying is, you've got to take into account the manager. Do you not think that Paqueta would have looked better in that 15-16 team? I think he would have.
Yeah, of course he would have done. Yeah, he would have done. But all I'm saying to you is the only thing with Paqueta, he does. Lot of his work is quite deep. It's lovely little tricks and flicks. But
that's because that's where he's put. That's where he's put. He's put deep.
Yeah, but then obviously if that's the case, then Moyes is obviously wrong. But I still think overall with these free kicks,
he can only play where he's put on the pitch.
Listen, right? You can only judge these players. You judge these players, right? Payet was absolutely world class and the best player in the league, not just in the top 10. He was incredible, right? We got a player at his very peak, and he was different class. So I cannot put Paqueta above Payet because that season. I don't know what Payet. I don't know what Paqueta would have done that side. I don't know. Maybe the same.
But 1 minute, hang on. We're talking about two completely different players here.
Yeah.
They're not even in the same. I'm not talking about class because I think they're both class. But we're not even talking about the same type of player. That's like saying, who's a better player? I don't know, fucking a forward or a defender. Which one was better? They're different players.
No, I know, Nick. But what I'm trying to say, a fan come on the other night on a fan channel, and he said Paqueta's the most talented midfield player West Ham's ever had, and I can't have that.
I
think
bullshit.
What I'm trying to get at is in 2016. Since 1963, we won at Anfield once, and that was in 2016, beat them 3-0, and that was Payet. He destroyed them.
And Bilic.
Right? We won at Arsenal. We won at Man City away. Yeah. We won at Liverpool. We won all in one. Now, I know the manager was Bilic, yes, I know, and it's an argument, Nick, I can't argue against you. You've got a point, but I still think overall, if you had Payet and Paqueta playing for Bilic, say, I still think Payet would have the edge.
Oh no, look, because Payet is a physical goal scorer and that's kind of what he does. I think Paqueta is a provider. Payet was a goal scorer. It's different. I think Payet did physically go and win you games. You know, he was outstanding. I'll tell you, here's another one. Here's another one. Let me ask you this: we've got Payet in this team. We've got a free kick 25 yards out. Who takes it, Payet or James Ward-Prowse?
Choice, didn't you? I mean, Gary, do you remember that goal? Do you remember that goal against Crystal Palace? The free kick.
Oh, how could you ever forget it? It was like the most amazing. I don't think anyone's seen a ball take that trajectory before, have they?
No. He was just unbelievable.
This is true. At what point, how many months would you have given Payet before he threw his toys out the pram and went, fuck this shit? We're under Moyes. How long do you reckon, Gary?
Moyes, he wouldn't have got off the bench, like you said, because he didn't do the defensive work. So Moyes wouldn't have played him.
No.
Got no Premier League experience.
To make you halfway, Nick, I think you've got a point. I think you've got a good point in terms of it's a shame in one respect. I mean, as much as I think sometimes in social media, one person gets a comment like anti-Moyes, everyone polls in, but it's a lot of it is justified at the moment because I think like the Tottenham manager, like Nick said earlier, if he was in this team, we'd probably see a much more adventurous style of play. And we have got the frustrating thing is we've got a very good side now.
That's what I'm saying. So, Gary, how good is this group of players we've got now? How good could they be with a manager that, do you know what, actually coach them in an attacking way? You know, because again in Europe the other day, right? What David Moyes does, he was playing against a team with a low block. His tactic was, I'll just throw a load of attackers on now. That was it.
Yeah,
there's no. There was not a load of strangers. There's no patterns of play. There's nothing. If you look at teams that are good, when you look at the moves, the passing moves, they're from the training ground. No, there is none of that. What he always does, Gary, he's relying on individual brilliance from players. It's nothing that's coached. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, Amers Mikey's come out here. Pike has had 50 times the player Pike was. I'm sorry, mate. I don't agree with you at all. I can't say you can possibly say that.
But,
I know where he behaved at the ends was not good at all.
Joking, Mikey.
I'm just judging the player
Absolutely
on
joking.
he
was world class.
Yeah, no, he was
world class.
But what I'm saying is, I think this is a bit of a nonsense argument anyway, because I just think we're talking about two great West Ham players here. We are.
Of course we are.
So
I'm only commenting. I'm only commenting on a comment the other day made by a West Ham fan. He just said he's the best midfield player West Ham's ever had. And I'm just ringing up to say I don't agree with that.
No, but I think he's one of the most. I'll be honest with you. I have never ever been excited by somebody being excited by somebody defending as much as what I am when I see Paqueta defending. It even makes defending.
He's one of
sexy.
the most talented.
It's fucking
one
ridiculous.
of the most talented. I think is the right way to put it. Right. I don't think you can compare him and Payet. I mean, I don't think you can compare him and Trevor Brooking or Alan Devonshire. Right. We've had great midfielders for forever. It ain't just been in the last couple of years, is it?
Yeah.
Cool. You know? I suppose also, Gal, it's down to the age of the fan, isn't it? You know, I mean, you watched Devonshire Brooking, so did I. You know, I'm not, listen, Amers Mikey, we've all got our opinions. I respect everyone's opinions. We're all West Ham fans end of the day. I'm only making a comment. Is that what I heard, what someone said, that's all.
Yeah,
you know, I just feel we're...
I know, but the thing is, like I said, that's like having a... It's almost like saying Paquette is shit because he's not as good as Payet. We're talking about two great players here. We shouldn't not admire and adore Paqueta because Payet was a better player. Oh, Paqueta is shit. He weren't as good as Payet.
No, Nick, I did say at the start I'll be controversial here.
I know. It's very silly, Gary. Very silly.
Yeah. But also, I want to say about the. I watched some of the game with Sheffield United today, and you sort of leaving Souček in or out. Obviously, I think Souček should be left out, but I must say they look very vulnerable to crosses into the box. Sheffield United today. I think we could have a field day next Saturday. We need to get this win to get us rolling again. You know, we just played too hard. You know, we played Liverpool, Manchester City, who are both going to finish in the top three, aren't they? Probably.
I just feel a little bit. I'll be honest with you, right? I will. And as good as James Ward-Prowse has been since he's come in, right?
Yeah.
I really, really don't want us to be set piece FC, but that is what we're going to be. It's all going to be about waiting for the. I think the peak of our excitement in so many games this season is going to be. Oh, we've got a corner. Waiting for James Ward-Prowse to go over.
It works. I think it works. But what you're sort of saying...
I ain't criticising James Ward-Prowse. I'm just saying, because I think he could work in any style of play, but it's what he means in this team, because we're just going to sit everyone behind the ball, try and wait for those moments where... And I think the only enjoyment is going to be, we got a James Ward-Prowse set piece, and you're like, fuck me.
Yeah. Also, Nick, I was going to say, the last two games, I mean, when you play these top four teams... You get moments in the game and you get your chances and you've got to take them. You just have. I mean, Liverpool, Man City last week, they had the Zuma header, you had the Antonio chance when he went through. You know, they're game changers. You know, like
always happens against the. For some reason, it always happens against the big teams where we get these great chances and we don't put them away. I don't know why. I don't know why. Whether it's nerves or they try to really make sure that it's going something like that, right? Whereas if they're playing against an inferior side, just instinct will put the ball away. They think about it too much. I think that's Antonio today, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think also with the January transfer window, if we brought in, I'm looking at the team as it stands at the moment. We're just discussing about fitting players in, trying to get the best team. 3 players, maybe a right back. Because obviously we've
Gary,
got Emerson on the left playing really well.
The right back's a
and a
must.
left-sided midfield player.
Yeah, but Gary, don't forget we've got Sullivan in charge here. This is Moyes' last season. We hope, right? What happened with in the Allardyce era for the last season, and remind you, is we made a good start. We were brilliant up until Christmas. Actually, we bought nobody in January because we were sitting pretty up the top, and Sullivan didn't have to spend money. We dropped like a stone, and we ended up about 13th, 14th, right? So if by Christmas we're sitting pretty, we ain't bringing any players in. It'll be players. If we're in trouble, it'll be we're in trouble, it'll be players to kind of rescue the situation. But no more money's being spent on Moyes. I think Stighton's bought a couple of players in, but no more money's being spent on Moyes.
I'll tell you what, especially if you're looking like you've got 3 dead and buried teams at the bottom of the fucking league as well. I think, providing there's no risk of us getting relegated, Sullivan's going to be fine. He ain't going to give a shit.
Nah.
Yeah. No, all I'm thinking is, you look at the team at the moment, and Nick was saying earlier about Paqueta's got to be in the middle, and I totally agree with him. He's got to be orchestrating it from the midfield. But what I'm saying to you is, you look at the right back situation. If you had a really good right back to complement Emerson on the other side, and you had a really pacey left winger, at the moment we still got a slight problem on the left. I know Ben Rama is out there, but he's not really going to go past people and cross. He's going to cut inside. We still haven't addressed these certain positions, have we?
Steve Jack says the big Greek bastard has got to come in for everywhere.
Yeah. But
he's big.
He's really got to remember.
He's half big. He's a big geezer.
You got to remember, Gary. As well. We haven't actually spent any money. We've only spent what we bought in. We ain't even spent all that.
Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah. No, like I said earlier, there's 1 or 2 people who are having a little dig at me. I did say at the start it would be a controversial
don't worry
thing.
about it.
And it's just a bit of fun,
Yeah, no, ignore
Stop having a go at Gary in a chat.
Leave Gary alone.
Yeah, leave me alone. No, I just think it's interesting, because it's interesting to see what people think. You look at players and like Canio, isn't it? You can call your lot.
But listen, I think you're right, because for me, if I'm being honest, my most enjoyable season. Now, look, my most enjoyable moment was winning the cup, but my most enjoyable season ever, the most special season I've ever had was the 15-16 season, that last season at Upton Park. And that was largely brought about by that. I think I've got to agree, probably in the flesh, bearing in mind I watched the Canio as well, in the flesh for 1 season and 1 season only, that is the best season I've ever seen from a footballer in Claret and Blue. It was fucking phenomenal. Do you remember in that season where even if we went a goal down, you didn't really even mind? You felt like we was going to come back and win. You felt like we was going to come back and win. It was amazing.
I was going to say the biggest difference between the Moyes team and the village one was when we went away from home against Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea.
Yeah,
we didn't sit back. We attacked every one of them teams, and we beat them all as well. You look at that season, their way record was unbelievable.
Yeah,
it was, and that's what I was saying, Gary. That's what I was saying last week. I just recounted this story from Tony Gow, where he said, on Stop Ham Time, where Jim asked him, what sort of instructions did John Lyle used to give you before you went out into the team? And he said, well, to be honest, we didn't used to talk about the opposition much. We just spoke about how we're going to try and hurt them.
Exactly.
Play our game, yeah. I think some people are getting a bit frustrated with the Moyes situation, and I understand it, because when you look at his away record against the top teams, it's not good, is it?
Look, if we win a couple of games, we bring a couple of points in, everyone will be coming out of the woodwork again, saying how great he is and all that. But look, unless you got shit in your eyes, you watch this football, it ain't good.
No,
it's horrible. It is what it is, right?
And you know what? And we will, because we've got such fantastic players in this team. Throughout the season, we're going to have this same merry-go-round where we're going to win 1 or 2 games, and then we're all going to be going at each other all year. We are, because we actually are, because you're going to have people like myself who can't adopt this style of football. Really, I'll enjoy the results, and if it does do really well and it gets us high up the table or far in a cup competition, of course I'll enjoy that. But in terms of enjoying the football, I can't enjoy the football because I don't. I don't enjoy it.
There's nothing to enjoy. I do think it's cowardly football. I really do. I feel that way.
Yeah. I was going to say, shout out Damien as well. Really good point about layoff Antonio. I mean, there's very few strikers that could play what he does. He's up against 2 or 3 big centre halves half the time. You know, and, he doesn't. He's not a natural finisher. We know that.
No, I know.
He deserved a bit of criticism yesterday, Gary, though, because he did that thing. You know what was annoying us in Europe, where he kept going down. He did that yesterday. I wish he wouldn't do that. He does it every now and then.
No, I know. Hey, look, listen. On here, like I said, you know how brutal we are with donkeys on this channel, and I think that's the first donkey Antonio's ever had, and we've been doing this for a long time. I'm a staunch defender of Antonio, but he pissed me.
He's 100% usually.
He's pissed me off twice, Antonio. The first one was before the Conference League final, with the comments that got released on the Nasty Boys podcast, whatever the fuck it is. That annoyed me. He's irritated me with this podcast, but I didn't go in on him because I was waiting, because I thought, hang on a minute, you can say that providing you back it up. But he didn't even come close to fucking backing it up today, did he? He really didn't.
Nah.
So he just made himself look a bit of a dick, to be honest.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah.
You know, it's just unnecessary. Setting himself up.
When's John back, by the way?
We don't know. John's basically John's always struggled for time anyway. So because he's always out in his cab, so it's literally up to him. We always say the same thing. Whenever John wants to come on, he can. You know. But as it stands at the moment, it's like at the moment in the chat, he's been texting, messaging on the group from King's Cross from the rank. So. So it's as and when he can make it, but we, like I say, I don't know.
He's John's always welcome to come on.
Been about 7 weeks now. Been about 7 weeks.
It's been ages, it's been ages. But but to be honest, you know, we've kind of got used to doing this format now. And when John, you know, wants to make an appearance, that's fine. We just carry on the way we are. It's our 8th birthday in a couple of weeks, October the 8th.
Second birthday.
Second birthday, our 8th birthday, our second birthday on October the 8th. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And fucking hell, it feels like a lot longer than 2 years, but it's not. We've done well in 2 years. We've done really well.
Yeah, no.
So we've got to think of something special to do for the 8th, which is coincidentally a Sunday.
Yeah,
so I think it's the Sunday after next.
And John has been invited onto that show as well. He doesn't need an invite. He always knows he's you know,
exactly.
Come on.
He just needs to say I'm coming on.
But he has been invited.
Get Nigel on as well.
Yeah. As long as Nigel's available, because Nigel's working nights at the moment. He's literally he's got a real slog at the moment with him. He's taken on a contract where he's going to be doing a lot of night work up and down the country. So he ain't got as much availability. But no, we're going to be getting a few new faces on as well. So there's a few people that I've got lined up to sort of come on with us and sort of dip in and stuff like that. So there'll be a few new faces in the coming weeks and months as well.
You had a couple of good show ideas as well. Sorry, Gary. Yeah, thanks for your call, Gary. We're really good. That put a cat amongst the pigeons. That question. It was good.
That's a good question. It's a good question. It's just I just think basically I think what we're talking about there. I think if you're talking about in the last, certainly the last 10 years, they're basically two of my favourite players with Tevez. I think Tevez was further than that, but I think Tevez sort of. I think if I could pick 4, I think I'd go Di Canio, Tevez, Payet, and Paqueta. I actually would. I'd pick those 4 players. I think they're fucking phenomenal. They are.
Imagine putting them in the same team. Imagine putting them in the same team. Canio up front.
Do you
reckon that could work, Gary? Just before you go, do you reckon you could fit in Di Canio and Tevez, Payet, and Paqueta in the same team?
Of course you could. Of course you could.
You probably would, because you'd have the ball all the time, wouldn't you? You know.
You put them 2 in the middle. You put Devo out left. Yeah. Cheers, Gary. See you later.
Cheers, Gary. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate. Take care, mate.
Yeah.
Right. That'd be the last call as well, because I'm getting tired now. I'm getting tired.
It's good. It's 2 hours, isn't it? Is it 2 hours?
It is. Yeah.
Almost 2 hours, isn't it?
What we're going to start doing as well, especially. Do you know when there's games where there's a lot of talking points? Say we go and get beat by Sheffield United. Say we go and get beat by Sheffield United.
Please, no.
But what I would do then, I would probably do the match reaction, my own one, and then on this show, I think we might just jump on, we'd rate the players, get that done as quickly as possible for 30 minutes, and then I think we'll just open the phone lines and let people phone in on a 10-minute rotation.
Yeah.
I
Because then
think
you've got an actual issue to phone up and talk about.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
if we do that on match day, I think we should keep the calls to like 4 or 5 minutes each, right?
Well,
Let people,
I think so. Yeah.
you know, if
yeah,
it's
but
good
I-
or
yeah,
bad,
yeah,
good or
yeah,
bad. If we beat Sheffield United 8-0, people will be excited. So get them to call in and gloat for and say how happy they are. Brilliant, right? It's not just all about misery. I did like, you had a couple of other show ideas, didn't you, about the with the opposition fans and stuff like that, which I really liked. It's a twist on the normal, on the normal light conversation with away fans.
Yeah, so that'd be that's
I like that.
I won't reveal that yet, but that could be a good one.
Yeah.
Something we introduce on a weekly basis as well.
That'd be right up our street on here. I tell you, you'll love it. You'll love it.
Yeah, just so it could be quite spiky. So yes, so we have got some good ideas for different shows coming up. So stay tuned. Drop a like on the video.
Yeah.
Make sure you do. Subscribe if you haven't already. Gary, do you want to
become a member? Become a member if you want to become a member.
If you want to become a member,
you've got a few members now.
If you want to support the show,
it's a unique little club, of members. So
yes,
so yeah.
And don't forget our new sponsor for all of that lovely tea and coffee behind me.
We must get better at this, Nick. We've got to get better at this. We've got a channel sponsor now. Now, as of next week, let's be more professional. Show some respect for that tea.
It was because I was in such a fucking rush because I had to set a new
no
thing
need to insult the sponsor's product, Nick. You can't insult the sponsor's product.
It's a lovely product.
I do drink a lot of tea now. I drink a lot of tea now, because I'm not doing so much alcohol, right? But I'm gonna come and get that tea. I'm gonna drink it, and I'm gonna report on it.
Okay,
that's what I do.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you all. Thank you for your lovely comments. See you in the week with some rambles. Hopefully, there's something to talk about. Please give us some fucking news to talk about.
I know.
But we'll, if not, we'll be here anyway to talk nonsense.
It's just the Moyes world with West Ham is very
so dull, isn't it?
It's apathetic. It's apathetic because
at the moment. It's beige.
It's just fucking bland. It really is.
Yeah.
Because there ain't even no point talking about. Oh, I wonder what fucking team he's going to pick next week. I mean, do you remember we've been there under Moyes? We used to do that. I don't know if you're a long-term follower of this show. We used to do. Do you know what we do with the player ratings? We used to do a graphic where we predicted teams, and it was quite like collaborative. You know what I mean? And we used to all get involved, like putting in what players was going to start. And in the end, after about 3 or 4 weeks, it was just the same every week. So I was like, fucking bit that off. There's just nothing to talk about.
Yeah,
I know.
And this is why what he does. The way he runs things, not only is it boring and dull, it generates no fucking news either. Because we know who's going to play against Sheffield United, right? Unless someone gets injured or something like that, that's the only news. There's nothing else to talk about. I know we're recycling the Lucas Paqueta betting story today on News Now. There was just there's literally nothing going on. This is a bland, beige football club at the moment. And we've got Lincoln in midweek. Going to do a post-match reaction, that Nick? Maybe do a live stream.
Oh, fuck off! No more live streams. I can't do that. I can't hide my displeasure at the football.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
No, I know. But anyway, look. Thanks everyone. Speak to you again. Well, I'll speak to you tomorrow. I'll do a ramble tomorrow. So I'll see you in the morning. Come on, you ones.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Come on, you ones.